We addicted to fast cars, bad bras, late nights, last calls, alcohol, bad bitches scrolling through the phone log. Hit 'em up, all my pick 'em up. We bout to have a time tonight. Sure you keep that burner tuck, cause niggas like to creep low. Say motherfuck the PO and the judge. But if they come with us, just know it's love. I'm saying just because. Yeah. Cause we been coming from welfare, Medi-Cal, healthcare, living in the hood is hell here, hell yeah. I'm saying just because. Love. I watched my mama and my daddy struggle with the bottle. I watched my cousins and my brother banged out full throttle. Driver's seat, we bout that action, we ain't sitting idle. And even when they melanated, still a rival. I ain't about killing, but I'm about survival. And we be praying to the Lord, but still ain't read the Bible. And put that pedal to the floor with a savage title. Hope we don't crash out. Shawty out, seeking attention, she got that out.
Oh, I'm road. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shu Shu. I am Shu Shu, one of the hosts of this show, and this is my lovely big brother Mandrell. How you doing, Mandrell? What's going on?
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Did you want to introduce us or something? You know what I mean? Because we can take it back and just like.
No, you got it. You're doing a great job. Don't worry about it.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
That's right. Come on with that. Hey, come on now.
Again.
Come on, man.
Y'all need to leave Boosie out of this. Okay?
Listen, you got to.
Boosie is sacred. Okay? Boosie is sacred.
You can stop it.
I know I can, but I'm not going to.
Yo,
how about that?
Boosie is the bomb, man.
I'm telling you, ain't he though?
Boosie is that dude, man, for real. The rap chips and with no Boosie on the front.
Did I say? I sent you a picture when I bought some. Right, I had to get them.
Right.
I saw Boosie chips. I said, "Wait, what? These things real?" I said, "Wait, these things real." I had to get them. I had to try them. Boosie potato chips. Boosie chips.
Rap snacks. That's funny.
Rap snacks.
Right. Yeah. So.
They taste like.
What?
They're potato chips, right? But they taste like hot fries.
Well, they made from the same thing. It's,
Are they really? No.
Basically, yeah. It's just the flavor, like the seasoning that they use is different. Like
the seasoning is the seasoning they use on hot fries.
Right. Yeah.
But they're on potato chips.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's unique. Yeah, I didn't expect that kind of flavor from them. I thought it was gonna be some generic, spicy potato chips. It wasn't. It was actually pretty good though.
This is not about chips, Carlos. Let's go ahead and move on to the show. Oh, I'm sorry, Mandrell.
This is the show.
All right. We gotta go on and on about no Boosie chips.
I can if I like. You should get some.
No.
They don't sell them up there because y'all lame.
You can stop it. How about that?
You can stop it.
But I don't want to stop it. How about that?
Anyway, what's going on? How you been? How was your day?
Busy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm tired and sore.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look like you're a little tired today.
Hello, Dr. Eugene Steele is in the chat. What's up, Dr. Steele? And also, I'm gonna say this now, okay, and I'm gonna say it later too. I'm having another live stream Friday afternoon, so if y'all can catch that, please come on over to my channel. And show your support. Subscribe. Like the content. It's called The Big Picture. I'll be putting it in the chat. I got another one coming up. Special guest will be who's coming? Yeah, Mr. Paul Bennett and OG AC.
No, you done conjured Jay Speed up.
Yeah.
Okay. He came out of retirement for you. That's what's up. You must be some kind of special. That's what's up.
Hey.
Oh, Lord.
I didn't see that, but do it again.
Unbreak my heart, say you love me again. Undo this hurt you caused when you walked out the door and walked out of my life. Unbreak this.
You said Blackman cutting up already.
I didn't mean play the whole thing, man. I just said I didn't like. I had another tab up. I was doing something else. I was about to put my.
Why she take a breath though before she starts singing?
Right. As if it made a bit of difference.
She was nervous. Okay.
Anyway,
let's give a shout out. Let's give a shout out to the chat. Thank you everybody for rolling through. Thank you, of course, Blackman, for being here. Dr. Eugene Steele, how are you? Thank you for coming through. Mr. Bennett, how are you this evening? Thank you, as always, for being here. We got Vaughn Bryant in the building. How you doing, Vaughn? Peace and blessings, peace, joy, and grace to you. Lady Navoa, hey sis, how you doing? What's going on? Thank you for coming through and being here as always. Is that Sugar Bomb? Okay. What's going on, Sugar Bomb? Glad for you to be here. Harris Tribe Media Group. What's going on? Salute to y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming through. Who else we got? I think that's all for right now. We're going to go ahead and get started and get into... She said, what do we just come in on? Did she clear her diaphragm first? Right!
Who said that now?
The Harris Tribe Media Group. They said,
yeah, what is she?
She had to take a breath first. She said,
As if she did it like this shit finna be the bomb too, did it? She did it like she finna slang.
Right. I know my neighbors think I'm crazy.
You can stop it.
Oh Lord.
That goes to the engine.
Girl is on fire.
Oh God, that's worse. That's like so much worse. That's so much worse. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
You ever see some people that's so ugly you don't even want to look at them? Look. Listen, no, I'm not apologizing about it. You know full well.
That is me, Mandrell. Okay, you can't say that.
You know full well you see some people so ugly you don't want to look at them.
This girl is on fire.
And shout out to Lady Navoa for the $2 cash app.
Oh, that's thank you, Lady.
Yeah, Shmary was split them $2.
You said what?
Shmary and I was split them $2.
That's right.
Okay. And
that's right.
We will enjoy it. Thank you very much.
That's right.
What? Hey, chat, let me ask you something. What happened to the days y'all used to send me super chats and cash apps for like 99 cents? Just to mess with me. People used to do that.
To go back to that? You want people to go back to that?
That was hilarious. Was it not? You was cracking your ass off.
That was funny.
Because you know they was doing it like it'd be $1.97.
Right.
Why you left 3 cents off though? I mean, you know.
Why?
Like why you left on 3 cents? You know
right. Shout out to the White School Podcast. Thank you. For you. And Beautifully Animated Speaks. Hey sis, how you doing? Thank you for coming through. I'm so glad you could be here. Yeah. So while we got all this foolishness and shenanigans going on, first of all, we're gonna go ahead and get into the topic at hand. First, let me throw out a disclaimer. This topic is sexual in nature. Granted, there isn't any like vulgar language or anything, but at the same time, I do want to throw this out there because it may not be appropriate for small children, or even if you have teenagers and you're not quite ready for them to hear this kind of conversation, you might want to have them leave the room. Just throwing that out there. So yeah, tonight's discussion is this is the reason you're not getting laid.
You in her DM, I'm in her mouth, we not the same. Flipping the phone, the heat, the fire, got the flame.
Come on with the Kirk.
That's the reason why he ain't getting laid. Look at the way he danced. Look at him, goofy. Run that back.
Yes, Kirk's still moving
Run
like
it
that.
back. Look at that. Look at that nonsense. He can't move.
You in her DM, I'm in her mouth, we not the same. Flipping the phone, the heat, the fire, got the flame. Came with a gift to gab and blessed with lots of game. Be mad at me, they know I'm not to blame. You in her DM, I'm in her mouth, we not the same.
All right. Enough's enough. Look, anyway, look. He trying too hard.
You fat, bald-headed, no-neck midget. I sentence you to 3,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man.
Yeah. Fuck you very much, Dr. Umar. Anyway, he's trying too hard, Franklin, in that video.
Listen.
It's like he's trying to dance instead of just dance.
You can stop it.
That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? That's that right there. That's sensual desire. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to show
That's
you
what that is.
something. That's what that is. That's what that is. Okay. So he's trying to teach you something. Don't behave.
Look like a palsy victim trying to perform open heart surgery with a lead pipe.
So anyway, y'all, yes, tonight's discussion is understanding sensual desire, and really what it is. Of course, I got a couple of videos for you guys that delve into and break down the difference between what exactly drive is and what desire is, and how to get yourself to the point where, like, you know, you understand what your turn-ons are, so to speak.
And Franklin dance, clearly.
Listen, for some people that might be it. You know, your partner might want to see you do some moves. You know, that things like that, something like that could excite your partner. So you know, but yeah. So
I think so nothing like that's gonna do it for me.
Not for you, and it should.
And the two women that was singing.
Mm-hmm. Listen, you never know.
The devil is real because that's what sin looks like.
A boo might like it, okay?
She ain't got a boo.
Right? You never know.
The devil must be real because that's what sin looks like.
That, you know what? The admin, would you please cue up the first video? That's mean, Mandrell. That's so mean. Listen, she can't help her face. You know what I mean? She ain't.
They got surgery for that. Doctors help them out with that nowadays.
No, she ain't do that to herself. You stop it. Anyway.
She didn't?
No. No. Oh, let me explain a little bit about the first video too, before we go into it. So the person speaking her name is Emily Nagoski. She is a sex educator, and so this is what she does. She researches all things about sex, and she goes around. She does workshops and she educates people on sex. Right. Because we being honest, like, how many of us have actually like really been taught about sex? Like, whose parents actually sat them down when they were younger and actually had an honest conversation with them about sex? I'm talking about what sex is, how it works, like other than, okay, don't have babies. That's how you have a baby. Sex is how you make babies, and you don't get no babies. Don't bring none in here. Oh, and if you're a female, don't have sex with anyone other than your husband, because that's a sin. And son, make sure you wrap it up. Don't have. But I'm just saying, like, nobody, and then other than that, and just what you learn in, like, biology or human anatomy class in high school. You know what I mean? Like, who actually teaches you about sex? and righteously, all we go off of is just a bunch of conversation that we may have with our friends, which a lot of it is fluff. Because, you know, a lot of people, especially like when you teenagers or like you in college, people like to make it sound like they're having such an amazing sex life if they are having sex. So, you know, and you know, just going off, it's just a bunch of misinformation that's being shared, especially about how to get things started and how to keep things started in a relationship. So, long story short, admin, let's go into the first video.
Is wrong. A lot of us were raised in what I started calling the desire imperative, that you have an obligation to experience spontaneous, sparky desire for your partner and to sustain spontaneous, sparky desire for your partner all the time. And so there's a lot of advice about how to keep the spark alive. And what I want to say is screw the spark. So how most of us think about sexual desire is as a spontaneous desire, where you're just like walking down the street, you have a stray, sexy thought, you see a stray, sexy person, kaboom, you just want the sex. And that absolutely is one of the normal, healthy ways to experience sexual desire, spontaneous desire. It emerges in anticipation of pleasure. But there's also responsive desire, where instead of it just appearing like a lightning bolt, it emerges in response to pleasure. Just that information alone can resolve people's sexual desire problems, because they realize they don't have a desire problem, they just have responsive desire. So it's not about figuring out where the pleasure is, it's finding a pathway to the pleasure.
Okay. Mandrell, you still there?
So is she one of those stupid sexologists, or what they call them?
Well, yeah, basically.
Okay, so she's a hack. She's a quack. Got it.
Well, she is a sex educator too, so she does like a lot of workshops and stuff where she goes around and educates people.
Right, but that's not a real profession.
Why is it not a real profession? Right. Why is it not a real profession?
Because it's fake. Everybody's different. Like okay, some people her advice is gonna work for and some is not. But 1 + 1 is 2 everywhere you go, even in fucking Mars.
Okay, so basically what didn't make sense about what she just said?
I didn't say what she said didn't make sense. I just said her job wasn't real.
If she's getting paid for it,
that don't make it a real job.
She getting paid. It's a job. I said obviously she getting paid.
Scientologists get paid. So what you're saying don't really.
It's a job though.
If you say so.
Anyway, so what she was saying was responsive desire versus sparky desire. A lot of the way we think about sex and how we get excited is in terms of this. There's this spark where there's this instant fire, this instant flame, and all of a sudden we see somebody that we are interested in, like sexually, and it's just like whoop, like oh, automatically let's go. And righteously, for a lot of people it does work that way, but then you do have some people who have what they call responsive desire. And responsive desire is maybe there is like there's something else that sparks them. Like for instance, you know, a man making over $100,000 can be responsive desire. that make it a waterfall.
Does it really?
You know. Or seeing Kirk Franklin dance like that. You know what I'm saying?
Does that really turn a woman on though?
Wait. If a man make a lot of money?
Yeah.
For some women it does, yeah. Because it means access, it means a certain lifestyle, it means a lot of things. So yeah, that's sexy to her. So that's her.
Just because he makes a lot of money, that's sexy time to her. What is wrong with your gender?
Listen, y'all attracted to fake asses.
Hey,
so
at least it's an ass.
Okay.
I can touch that. I can see that.
And what?
Money's fake.
Right then, there you go. So both
I can't
genders
even see. No, I can't even see money. I can't see money.
So both the genders are attracted to fake things.
No. That ass is real. It's just got more in it. Somebody pumped silicone.
Mr. Bennett says spark for who, men or women? For both, actually, because believe it or not, women are just as visual as men. There's certain things about men that turn a woman on instantly too. Like for instance, I love a man in a suit, especially like a tailored suit, 3-piece tailored suit. God, that's sexy. Anyway, but yeah, and other physical features and physical attributes can turn a woman on instantly too. So yeah, this sparky desire applies to women also. So yeah, what do you think, Mandrell? Other than just being cynical.
About what? What do I think about what? What is your question? What do you want to know from me?
About what she said about desire, like responsive desire versus sparky desire.
Desire. I mean, we all have desires, yeah. There's something to that, what she just said. I just think that, Jesus, y'all got way too much time in y'all hands. I'm gonna make a show, and you're gonna co-host with me. Called y'all got too much time in your hands. You do.
What?
She sat there and thought of this. Who has that kind of time on their hands?
Really, you gonna do this?
What you say? Responsible.
What's going on? Is it Dino Dinosaur? What's going on? How you doing?
No, Dino Dinosaur. Don't entertain this, okay? Don't entertain this, Dino Dinosaur, okay?
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all. Wait, hold on.
You can stop it.
Time out. I'm gonna tell y'all what's going on right now. No. Mandrell.
Shh. What's up?
That's all I want to hear from you. Shh. Right now. Mandrell is doing this because he's uncomfortable right now. He's uncomfortable having this conversation. Like, we haven't had conversations about like relationships and stuff like that, like all that type of stuff. So don't get in front of people acting like you uncomfortable now. Okay? Or is it that you're uncomfortable talking about what turns you on, what gets you excited? Are you uncomfortable having this conversation because you're uncomfortable about sensual desire and what your turn-ons are? Are you afraid to have that conversation? Because basically what this is deflection. That's all this is. Mandrell is deflecting. Just letting y'all know. That's right. I'm calling you out.
And I'm calling you out for this voodoo witchcraft that you're trying to pull. This is witchcraft. You see how she tried to put. Look, I'm calling out the nonsense about this whole thing, and then here you are trying to flip it back on me. No. See, you're behaving this way, and you're cynical about it, Mandrell, because you're uncomfortable speaking about the subject. And here's the thing: I'm her older brother. I'll admit. I've never been comfortable talking to my sister about coitus, okay? For those of you smooth brains out there, coitus is the physical act of love, sex, vagina, okay? For the smooth brains. Now, yeah, I admit, I'm just saying, nah, not talking about that with my sister. But, I kind of had to in some degree, and this is not me turning things back around on her because the onus is on her. She brought this silly shit up here. I'm just calling out the nonsense. This lady up here with a fake job, okay, that she made up and convinced some moron, some smooth-brained individual to pay her $100,000 to give a speech and get other people to pay her $50,000 a pop to give a seminar on desire and sexual whatevers. It just speaks to the degeneracy of this great nation of ours.
Anyway, so I got a couple of different videos to get to, and so
yeah. So let's first go to the video so we can let the sexual degeneracy come up here.
Long story short, this right here, stuff like this, deflection and not avoiding the conversation is why so many people
It's not what I'm doing. It's not what I'm doing.
in the bedroom. That's why so many men sit up here hollering about they got sexless marriages.
Right.
And so many men think that women don't have, aren't interested in having sex or like don't have an interest in it. And as a matter of fact, one of the videos I got explains that.
Speak to Sherelle. Speak to Sherelle. Sherelle's in the chat. Speak to Sherelle.
Hey, Sherelle, how you doing? First of
There
all, you should have spoke first because you saw her first. Thank
you. But you were talking, and I didn't want to interrupt because that would be rude.
Whatever. Hey, Sherelle, how you doing? Good to see you, sis. It's been a minute.
It has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Sherelle, you ain't subscribed to my channel. Yeah, I think Sherelle did. I think Sherelle subscribed to my channel.
Oh, so yeah, we're gonna keep the conversation moving forward. So bottom line is understanding you have sparky desire and responsive desire. Some people don't necessarily have, some people need more responsive desire, meaning like it could be a touch, it could be like maybe like a letter or something, or even just text message or something from their lover or for someone that they're interested in, or just like I don't know, like some kind of attention, you know what I mean? But the bottom line is you have to understand what turns you on and how to get there. When she was saying create a pathway to get there, how do you get there? A lot of people think that they have like a spark issue, and it's not that. And maybe that's like what she said, maybe it's just responsive desire. Anyway, so in the next clip, she's going to actually break down like the actual the desire model. So like in terms of like what that looks like. So admin, can we cue up video 2, please?
3 major phases. The first is grounded in the work of Masters and Johnson, whose fundamental 4-phase model of sexual response was what sex therapy was based on. But when you listen to those phases, you've got arousal, plateau, orgasm, refractory period. You know what's missing in that? Desire. So when Helen Singer Kaplan came along in the 1970s, she noticed that desire was nowhere in the model they were using to treat sexuality. So she created the desire, arousal, orgasm model, the triphasic model. And it was revolutionary to add desire. So now we can develop interventions targeting specifically when and how much people want sex. And then Eric Janssen and John Bancroft at the Kinsey Institute had the wacky idea that sex works in the brain just like all the other things in our brain, which is that it is a pairing. And it's called the dual control model because it's got 2 primary parts. There's the sexual excitation system or accelerator, and there's the sexual inhibitory system or brakes. Sex is far more a brain process than a genital process. Genitals can be fun. The brain is essential. You can't have sex without a brain. So the sexual excitation system is, colloquially, it's the accelerator or the gas pedal. And it notices all of the sex-related information in the environment. That's everything that you see, everything that you hear, smell, touch, taste, and crucially, all the sensations in your body and everything that you think, believe, or imagine. What are some common things that activate people's accelerators? The sight of their partner, the smell of their partner, reading a sexy book or watching a sexy scene. And it sends the turn on signal that many of us are familiar with. Functions unconsciously at a low level all the time. Here we are talking about sex, so there's just a little bit of sex-related stimuli. But fortunately, at the same time, your brakes, the inhibitory impulses, are noticing all the good reasons not to be turned on right now. And it turns out, when people are struggling with any aspect of sexual response, pleasure, desire, arousal, orgasm, it's not usually because there's inadequate stimulation to the accelerator. It's because there is too much stimulation to the brakes. And a lot of them have nothing to do with the sex itself, but have to do with stress, body image, trauma, and relationship issues. So the process of becoming aroused is a dual process of turning on the ons and turning off the offs. The dual control model sort of makes it sound like touch me here, don't touch me that way. It could be as simple as that, but that's not how pleasure works. The perception of a sensation in our bodies, as pleasurable or not, depends on the context in which we experience it. And the context means the external circumstances and our internal state. External circumstances, the bedroom door is locked, we know we're not going to be interrupted. We're wearing the sexy underwear that makes us feel sexy. That's the external circumstances. The internal state is whether you are stressed, depressed, anxious, lonely, experiencing repressed rage. We've all got it. So there can be certain kinds of stimulation that in one context feel amazing and in other contexts make you want to punch somebody in the face. My usual example is tickling. If you are already in a fun, flirty, playful, aroused, trusting, loving frame of mind and you're certain someone tickles you, it's not everyone's favorite, but you can imagine a world where that feels playful and good and can even lead to other things. But if you're in the middle of a fight and they tickle you, it is going to be very irritating. What? It's the same sensation, it's the same certain special someone, but the emotional context, by which I mean the actual activation in your brain, is different. And so your brain interprets the sensation as exactly the opposite. Couples who sustain a strong sexual connection over the long term are not couples who constantly can't wait to put their tongues in each other's mouths. They're the couples who know how to co-create a context that allows both of their brains to have access to pleasure.
So what you think?
So it all starts in the brain, she says.
Mm-hmm.
So you mean literally, just like literally everything else that we do in life starts in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And people didn't know
No, but here's the thing, Mandrell. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't think that. You know, a lot of
How do
people
you not think that though?
No, because a lot of people think this is the way people think sex works, and this is why it's important for you to be listening to the first video. Your ass.
I listened to the first video. Here's the thing.
A lot of people think, and then
Dumbass.
right. So a lot of people think this is how arousal works. I'm walking down the street, I see somebody that I find very physically attractive, and I'm on, and I want to bang them right now.
Responsive.
I want to bang them so much that I just cannot. Yeah, it's just an instant spark.
Yeah, I know. I'm listening. Here's the thing. Yeah, I was goofing off about the whole brain thing. I mean, that's obvious. How you don't know that? I don't know. But
yeah, a lot of people think it's just. Well, it's just magic. It just comes on.
And well, then those people should never get laid ever in life. So they don't deserve it. They're too dumb. So the other one was about the dual mechanisms, and so that was good information to know. But everything that your body does is dual. You know what I'm saying? Your heart has two functions when it pumps.
Right.
Okay. The brain has two hemispheres. You know what I'm saying? You have two eyes, two nostrils. Why do I have two nostrils? You have an opening and an exit. One for food to go in, one for sustenance to go in, another opening for sustenance to go out. It's two of those, 2 hands, 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? So, and then your digits, even numbers. No, they're odd numbers, but it's an even amount on each limb, right? So everything works in duality. Everything works in concert with the body. So that part makes perfect sense. You know, there's another one. Now, the most important one that she went through that I found was that when she's talking about the start and stop. You want to turn on the on. If you want to turn someone on, you have to make sure you do the things that turn them on, and make sure you turn off all the things that turn them off. Right. That was the most important part of this particular segment here. I think people should focus more so on that. And that's what's going to turn someone on and off. It varies. It's subjective. You know, everyone's different. So you're going to have some similarities. Yeah. But just because something's similar doesn't make it the same.
Right.
You know, so, and I think that's the kind of long and short of it. That was interesting though. That one was. I'll give her credit for that. For putting that out there. Because a lot of guys don't think that.
Right. A lot of women don't either.
Yeah, especially women. A lot of women think that.
People don't understand that. It's like they think that there must be something wrong with me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just because you touch a guy and come on to him and kiss him, it's like, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be turned on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of women think that. A lot of the women think something's wrong with them because that guy doesn't respond to a certain stimulus that she gives them. Like, some women think that she can just grab a guy and just start going and just don't kiss him, nothing. Like, people aren't even kissing these days. I'm like, how do you even get into it if you're not kissing?
Mandrell, that goes back to, like I said, there is a lot of misinformation and a lot of
exactly. I'm agreeing with you.
Misunderstanding when it comes to like how sexuality works, because nobody ever sat down and actually like taught you factual information that was actually researched and studied. They just teach you just okay, this is how babies are made. Don't come in my house with none, and don't have sex before you're married. Son, make sure you wrap it up. Don't you bring no babies in here either.
They don't tell them that's how babies are made. They just,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and that is it.
They don't even tell them that. Here's the thing: they'll see that little girl walking down the street with a boy who lives across the street from school, walking home from school from a boy who lives across the street. The girl comes home, so the mom sees it out the window. The girl comes in the house. The mom says, "Don't be bringing no babies in my house."
Right.
Hadn't told the little girl how the babies are made. Didn't say what was involved in it. Nothing. Just don't come in my house with no babies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when she does come in the house with a baby, what you teach her? Nothing. A lot of you parents out there are failures.
And we're gonna get into that a little bit later on in the conversation too. How we're conditioned follows us up until adulthood. Part of how we're conditioned about sex can create issues in our relationships.
Of course,
it creates issues in the bedroom, especially like, even like when in religion, when we teach from a religious perspective, it can cause problems when you get married and you do everything in the right way. It can cause problems in the bedroom. And like I said, y'all wait it out. With the last video is going to be a lot of answers, especially for you husbands who can't get no sex from your wives. All right. So
I'm not married yet, so this is going to benefit me.
Oh, it's going to benefit you too. Yeah,
but I'm not married. I ain't got the married men problems.
I mean, well, you plan on getting married, right?
I'm messing with you.
So, it's better to know and understand so that you can when you understand what the problem is, then you know what solutions to look for.
Hey, I don't need you to sue me or nothing like that. Who you think this
is?
I'm the head of this here outfit. You understand? Okay, so everybody in the chat knows it.
So Admin Q, the third video is breaking down and actually defining what drive is, what sex drive is.
If we were in person, I'd slap you in the back of the head, right?
And I slap you back.
No, you wouldn't. Yes, you are. You better be.
In the middle of the 20th century, went to a conference in 1956 and said, "No one has ever suffered tissue damage for lack of sex. If you want to prove to me that sex is a drive, show me the tissue damage that an organism experiences because they do not have orgasms." For the first half of the 20th century, scientists more or less treated sex as a drive. Drive is a very specific kind of motivational system where an organism experiences an uncomfortable internal experience that pushes them out into the world to go solve a problem. So thirst is a drive. Hunger is a drive. Sleep even is a drive. You can literally die of sleep deprivation. Sex, it turns out, is not one of those. Instead, it is an incentive motivation system where instead of being pushed into the world by an uncomfortable internal experience, you are pulled into the world by an attractive something or other out into the, ooh, what's that? We can go ahead and say sex drive. I understand that is much easier to say than sexual incentive motivation system. It is just as innate and just as natural as a drive system, but it's just not an uncomfortable internal experience that pushes you to go solve a problem or else you could die. If I'm teaching like a group of students, someone will be like, excuse me, ma'am, miss, Emily, I'm pretty sure I have experienced an uncomfortable internal experience when I could not get the sex I wanted. And that is correct, you have. The sensation you're experiencing is frustration. There is a little monitor in your brain that has goals and keeps track of how much effort you're putting into it and how much progress you're making, gets really frustrated that there is something you would like a lot. It's not a basic biological need, which means you are not entitled to it. No one has any obligation to make sure you have enough of it.
So in the very, very video, because it got cut off a little bit, the way she starts that video off is, no one ever died because they couldn't get laid. And then she goes into breaking down.
The incels did.
Stop.
At least they said that they're going to.
Stop it. What's going on, Jedi Mike? Listen, well, see, with that particular clip, she's talking about, we misuse the term sex drive because sex is not a drive. A drive is a motivation system rooted in something that we have to have in order to live. So hence why she used the example of water is a drive, because you have to have water or you'll die. Like food is a drive. You have to have food. He said, so pain in your groin is out of frustration. Yeah, it's out of frustration. Must admit it. Because food is a drive because you have to have it in order to live. You could go an entire lifetime without sex and still live. You know what I mean? You cannot go an entire lifetime without food and continue to live. You can't live out your lifetime without food. You have to have it. Whereas you can live your entire lifetime and not have sex, because that means you don't have to have it. It's not a biological need in which we have to have in order to live. Whereas what sex is what's going on, Tez? He said, what sex is. Oh, let me finish my thought first. What sex is, it's an incentive-based need. Basically, yeah. So she said it's incentive-based. So incentive meaning having children is an incentive to having sex. Pleasure is an incentive to having sex. But if you don't have children, if you don't get that pleasure, you can still live out your entire lifetime. So it's not something you need in order to live. It's just something that we really, really want. And granted, when it's something that you really, really want a lot and you don't get it, that's what she was saying. That feeling that you feel is frustration. It is not like your body saying, "Oh my God, I'm about to check out if I don't get some vagina or I don't get no penis right now." That's not what's happening. So, and I'm gonna go into the next video because she's gonna break that down too. He said, "So
I didn't get a chance to respond to anything." Listen, let me debunk this BS that you just threw out there. Talk about no, we will literally die if we don't have sex.
You mean die out?
No, we'll die. I can't have you spread. I can't have you. Number one, I can't have you spreading this message. Okay, women already got too much of an upper hand, so the guys say. I say the guys are wrong. I mean, but you can't say that in public.
Right?
Then women will think it's okay. Hold on.
Name a 49-year-old who died from lack of sex, right?
No,
you don't
see then, but women would think it's okay to hold out, and it's not. You can't say that stuff out loud.
Why not? Y'all teach them too. Y'all teach us too.
No, we don't.
Why not?
Huh?
Why not? You teach us, they teach us too to hold out. So why not?
No, we don't teach y'all to do that.
Yes, y'all do.
I taught you, but you're my sister. I'm supposed to.
Yes, y'all do. Y'all teach us to hold out, and then when we do, like nail us to the cross.
And then here's the thing. Did you listen to me when I told you?
The prudes.
When I told you to hold out for marriage, did you listen? Follow my advice?
We ain't talking about me. Okay?
Right. And look at how you turned out.
Real conversation. All right.
Right. And look at how you turned out for not listening to me. Now,
damn good. How about that?
Here's the thing. Yeah, this one, of course we know, it's on a serious note, of course we know people, no one's gonna die from lack of sex. And it's not a drive, it's libido. That's the prescribed nomenclature for it. You know what I mean? It is an urge, a very strong and like women, you all don't understand how strong that urge is, and how much willpower it takes for you to not do that. You know what I mean? It does. Like for men, for some reason, with us, it's a weird thing. Our body chemistry is palpable, strong. I mean, that's why when we lose our temper, sometimes you fall off the handle and do stuff you regret later, because you have to catch yourself real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, in the very beginning, the sooner the better. You have to catch yourself. But yeah, she's right in that case. But about it not being a drive, I'm just surprised other people don't know this already. It's just
no. That's a thing. Like now that people are aware of what the dual system is, turn ons, turn offs, maybe you need to focus a little bit more on, okay, how do I turn this off? Because and then they're gonna get into that later too. But anyway, I don't want to go too long because we're already 46 minutes into the live. So admin, we're gonna go to the fourth video that talks about procreation.
For the idea that it might be a drive is, okay, if it's not about individual survival, it is about genetic survival. What about a drive to move my genes into the next generation? That is not how biological psychologists define the term drive. The way we get motivated to have sex is that something sexually relevant happens in our environment. And our brain notices that and is like, turn on signal. And you notice a sensation in your body maybe in response to that turn on signal. And that sensation is itself a turn on signal. And that goes up to your brain and you get even more turn on signal. And it, what's that? I want to move toward that. In the right context, you're like, I would like to explore further this sensation. It's motivating because it feels good in the right context. Why do we have sex? Because it feels good.
Why do we have sex? Because it feels good.
There you go. That's the long and short of it, and to have babies, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But she's saying that, like, understanding that, hey, Charles, understanding that sex is not a biological need that you have to have or you're gonna die. It understanding that kind of helps curb the whole like incel thing, MGTOW thing. That's a lot of the reason why so many men out here are like, feeling like, women are the enemy because they can't get something that they supposed to have. They're supposed to get. It creates an entitlement type of mindset too.
What does? No, it doesn't.
Sex is a biological need that you have to live. Like I'm supposed to have this, or I'm gonna die. And that's not true.
Here's the thing with
that. I'm supposed to have this, or I'm gonna die, and you're not.
Here's the thing about that, though. That the urge for men to have sex, like I can speak for, I'm only speaking for myself, and from it, so this is anecdotal. Take it or leave it. And from other guys I've talked to, like for me, it's like, okay, no, you don't literally need it to live, but that urge, it makes you think you do. It does make you think. There's no way I have this kind of an urge to do something and I ain't gonna die if I don't do it. Like it's stupid. It sounds stupid, but it really is like that. It's like, ladies, y'all don't understand. It takes real willpower to just that's why I think it's one reason why guys have such an issue with monogamy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They I call them weak guys. Mm-hmm. The ones who lie and stuff about it. Right. But if the woman agrees, that's a different story. Not really cheating in if she agrees to it. But they have that urge and they just can't control themselves for whatever reason. They haven't built up the discipline to say no. Right. And you do have to build discipline to say no. Mm-hmm. It's just with the incels, they've never had to build the discipline to say no because they've all been told no. But they've never looked at themselves to figure out what about themselves they need to improve upon. Not change, improve upon.
Tell you what, scare men half to death by tell them that they're gonna go to hell and they're gonna die if they do have sex, and I bet you they'll get the willpower there.
No, they won't.
But then again, child support court, family court, none of that.
Exactly. I was about to say.
Oh well, they'll just do it and try and blame it on somebody else because it's not their fault.
Because if you told me if you have sex, if you say, you know what, Mandrell, if you have sex again, you're going to hell. Give me some. I'm gonna soak my drawers in gasoline. I will soak my drawers in gasoline and go right on the hell because I'm not stopping that. What?
Right.
What?
So
why would it's like but you go to, I'm like, why would you do that? But you go to hell. So worth it. And it is worth it.
Right. Well, here's the thing about that too. What I've come to find out as an adult that men lie a lot about sex.
They do. Yeah, we do.
When they lost their virginity, how they lost their virginity, all these other things because of societal conditioning and the societal pressure for them to go ahead and pop a cherry. So like all this,
it's a macho thing. It's
right.
It's a machismo thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I'm a man now because I've been laid. And then...
Right. And here's the thing: there's a lot more research that's being done that has been done on sexual drive in women, as in recent years. Of course, because a lot of it is just because a lot of people just wanted to stick to this idea that only men have this undying, almost uncontrollable desire to mate, but women, because we're the ones that say no, we're the gatekeepers, no, our desire, our drive isn't the same, and it's not true. And the research is out. It's not true.
The research is in, you mean?
The research, no, it's out there in the world.
It's in. That means the science is in.
Tomato. Anyway, let's get into the fifth video.
And it's not the same thing as tomato.
This video, the next video, she talks about what this idea that sex is a biological need that we have to have in order to live, the repercussions that it has and it has had on society.
Cling to this myth that sex is a biological need to which people are entitled. It is the case that people have died. A surprisingly large proportion of the mass murders that happen are committed by people who declare that their motivation is that they're not getting access to the sex that they want and need. If we just understand that sex is a pleasure-based motivation, not a life and safety-based motivation, we can free ourselves into the joy and ecstasy that's available to our bodies when we're not feeling frustrated and angry about a sense of failure to get something that we feel like we're supposed to be able to get. If it's not about getting, but about connecting and feeling the sense of freedom that comes with letting go of the shoulds. And we don't get those things through a false belief that something we just really want is something we are entitled to and require for our safety. The new and radical idea is pleasure is what matters, connection is what matters, authentic humanity is what matters.
What you think? So that's basically what she was saying, like, because we cling to this idea that it's something that you have to have in order to live, which is not. It leads to, for the men who can't get something, but believe that idea, it leads them down this deep, dark depression where like, oh, Like, well, we're gonna go our own way. Well, forget the women over here. Passport bros, get your passports. We can't get none over here, so let's go over somewhere else and get some. Or incels, like real talk. I had heard of an incel term. I just didn't know how deep it was for them. Like a lot of the mass shootings, if you go back and look at a lot of, especially the most recent ones, most of them were from that community. And a lot of it was them lashing out because they believed that they were entitled to have something that they're not entitled to have. And they believed that they were supposed to get something that they biologically need. And it's a lie.
Hey, listen, your body telling you different. If you're a man, your body tells you different. Your body tells you need it. I mean, because understand, we have two prime directives. Other than as human beings, we have two prime directives. Other than that, nature doesn't care. Your number one prime directive, survive. That's it. Survive. That's your number one. That's your number one directive. Survive. Number two, procreate. So if we had a purpose in life, it would be that, to perpetuate the species. This whole thing about God has a purpose. Yeah, then why aren't you having babies? Because that's your purpose in life, to perpetuate the species. That is it. Survive, perpetuate the species. The rest is all bunk. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just made that shit up. Be honest. I don't care what religion you're from. Now these incels, but here's the thing: you say that, and I know science is one thing, but you're right. I'm telling you, as a man, and you know me, I'm very disciplined when it comes to sex. I've said no lots of times. Wasn't easy,
right? Well, the difference is you're saying no to someone who you are sexually attracted to. It's not hard.
Sexually attracted to her.
That's what I said. You are saying no to someone you're sexually attracted to. Yes, that's hard.
Yeah,
that's hard for a woman to say no to somebody who got my water flowing down there. Yes, it's hard to say no. It's hard.
You ain't got to say it like that.
But here's the thing. It's plenty of women out there you ain't got a problem saying no to. For instance, the two girls in the videos that they Blackman them played. You ain't had no problem saying no to them. That wouldn't be hard for you, would it? She just said she exhale every time she exhales. But yeah, I'm saying you wouldn't have a problem. Now with it.
That'll be a fuck no.
Right. Exactly. So that's the thing. The dual control model works in y'all just like it works in us. You just don't understand it.
Yeah, like True said something in the chat. True says, Mandrell, come on, man. Men want sex just for pleasure, and there's nothing wrong with it. No reason to get robotic about it. That's true. We want it for pleasure. I mean, I never said we didn't. It's just when it comes to, turning away sex, it ain't the easiest thing in the world. And it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Words matter now. It's not easy to say no to someone you are sexually attracted to because context and clarity matters. See, there's also this idea that men just can't turn down women at all.
Yeah, that's a nonsense.
Because you're sexually attracted to every vagina.
And that's not true.
Like you just can't say no to vagina at all. It don't matter what she look like. You just got to have vagina. It don't matter. But the bottom line is y'all have turn-ons and turn-offs just
like everybody else. Like there's some chicks. Hold on.
Yes, you can say no. You can turn somebody down. If you ain't attracted to them, it's so easy. But if it is someone you are sexually attracted to, now that is difficult.
Yeah, that's difficult. Here's the thing. Like there have been women that I've been really attracted to. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no way you say no, but then this chick either says something or does something. I'm like, ugh. Ugh. And I'm just like, no, we're not going there tonight. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it goes to a point. Like at that point, I'm no longer attracted to this chick, no matter how aesthetically pleasing she is on the eyes. But there's been
Girl is on fire.
cut the shit. I'm trying to make a point. Don't do that right in the middle of me talking. All right. So I lost my fucking point.
You were saying like you've had to turn out a woman who you were sexually attracted to.
Yeah,
right?
Sexually attracted to, you know what I'm saying? When it's that, you know what I'm saying? Even then, okay, that's not I was like, okay, this is not a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't go there. Whatever the case may be. Whatever it is, I had second thoughts about it. And I was like, nah. And also, when you're in a relationship, right? For example, me, if I'm in a relationship with someone, I don't like, I'm not, my mind is solely focused on the person I'm in a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? That's the person who has my attention. So all other women is like, yeah, they're there, but they may as well just be doing this. Walking right past me. I don't even see them.
Right. Yeah.
It's a weird thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you see a woman and you can appreciate the fact that she's attractive, but it has no effect on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's odd. Like how it's, like you said, the whole dual thing, you know?
Right.
That part of being physically attracted, like, or sexually attractive, because physically, yeah, she's attractive, but sexually attractive to some other woman, other than the one I'm committed to, that's turned off.
Right.
You know, and me being attracted to the person I'm sexually attracted to the person I'm with, that's turned on.
Right.
And it's like that. That's why I said, like, in that video when she first introduced this idea. That's that was the most important one to me. The most important point she made. And I really like to see more on that. The mechanics of it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the sixth video because I got one more. We're gonna go to the sixth video and then I got one more after that.
How many more we got?
It's just two. So it's this one and the one.
Especially in conjunction with responsive desire is, why did no one tell me this before? It's a kind of freedom to know that you're already normal, you are not broken, nothing is wrong. You just need to work to create a context that allows your particular brain to be ready to respond. The mindset to bring to the process of coming to understand who you are as a sexual person and how you came to be this person is to turn toward your own internal experience with kindness and compassion. If you want to understand yourself, there are worksheets that you can do. There are lots of other books that you can read, talk to a therapist. Unfortunately, if you want to explore these ideas with a partner, you are going to have to talk to your partner about sex. And there are a lot of people who feel like having sex with their partner is a whole lot easier than talking about sex with that same partner. So really what it comes down to is tips for how to talk to your partner about sex. And one of the positive frames that you can use is that you and I belong together in a sexual way, and I am interested in exploring the ways that we can deepen our erotic connection. I want to know what works for you. I want to be able to tell you what works for me in a way that's going to feel good to you and not critical. Right.
So, and their lives, well, of course, there are more resources now to educate yourself about sex. And also, like if you're in a relationship, you have to get more comfortable with talking to your partner or your significant other about it. And that's the thing. That's one condition that kind of like never leaves us in our teenage years. Like once we hit puberty and, start learning about or like getting curious about sex. I'll say that, curious about it, because we don't learn nothing about it for real.
Which sources should we trust?
Huh?
Which sources should we trust, though?
What you mean?
There's a lot. You're right. There's a lot of literature and stuff about sex, but what should we trust?
The research that comes from like an accredited or like a actual accredited source.
So from actual academia,
right?
Boring.
I mean, Shannon Brody also. You got YouTubers out there that talk about this. Shannon Brody is one. She that's all her channel is about. Like, you know,
Really?
yes, yeah, understanding sex, understanding sexual pleasure, all this other stuff. And there's plenty of content out there and plenty of information about this, or channels that actually go into detail about sex and how it works, and showing you how to understand on how to find and figure out what your turn-ons are and what turns you off. A lot of people don't know themselves as deeply as they think they do. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
So, like, you know, and that's the thing. You're always learning about yourself, and you should always put the effort into learning about yourself. And it can only help you in a relationship, because, like, when you're having a problem, like, you know, and you got something going on internal, like you're upset or angry about something. And, you know, if it's really something that you're angry with at your partner about, or maybe it's something internal going on, maybe it's something that, you know, from a trauma or something you was dealing with from your past, you can articulate that with them. Or if you're having, especially if you're having issues in the bedroom, defining what it is and being able to communicate that with your partner, what issues you're having, and also in a way that's not rejecting, like, I ain't getting enough sex and you need to do better. Like, that's not really like encouraging your partner to want to.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you something.
Encouraging you to do more. It's like, no. Okay, well,
let me tell you something. When we get to that point, it's been a while since you've been phoning it in for a while. Because men are just, a lot of times men are just take it just because, okay, I'm getting it. You know what I'm saying? So they'll take it, you know, but if you've been phoning it in for a while, if you've gotten to that point, like, hey, listen, you ain't doing that thing I like. You ain't done it like forever. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't done it like forever. You're not really trying. You ain't throwing back, blah, blah, blah. I need you to tighten up. So by that time, like, that's the nice version of what he's really thinking. Because what he's really thinking,
you're probably, but like, just
what he's really thinking is something different. That is probably a lot more vulgar than that. You know what I'm saying? But he's probably cussing you out every night. Yeah, but if he's like, that's the nice version. And I suggest women, ladies, if this is the case with you, tighten up now. I mean, right now.
Oh Lord.
Because he's at his wit's end with it. If he's telling you like that, he's at his wit's end with it.
Well, the first things first, we have to stop making sex so taboo, especially when you're in a relationship. Like, that is not a subject that you should be avoiding. It's not a subject that you should be evasive about. What you like, what you don't like. If there's something that you think you may be interested in, you want to try, bring it up to your partner. Because the answer isn't going to somebody else, all because you're too scared to have a conversation with your partner. So he said, is it wrong to see it as a dusty, especially to your spouse?
What do you think, Shu?
To see it as a dusty? You said as a duty. I'm sorry.
Duty.
As a duty? That's the thing. It shouldn't feel like a duty. It shouldn't feel like a duty.
Okay, so what if it's a night where you're not in the mood? I mean, like, it's one of those nights where you're like so not in the mood. You had a long day, blah, 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 whatever happens. And I just want to go to sleep. And then he comes touching on you and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Do you call me to come tune him up? Or do you go ahead and do your duty?
You say, do I tune him up?
Do you call me so I can come over there and tune him up? Or do you roll over and do your duty?
Oh, I saw a sneezer. A cougher.
Gonna need you to explain that.
Fuck out of here. I don't feel like it.
You start sneezing.
Take your ass to sleep. I'm sick.
Or coughing. So.
No, I don't do that.
No. Let's unpack this.
That would be messed up, though.
Let's unpack this. Wait, no. I got the feeling you've done this before. You said that, number one, your response time to that, your answer, quick. Like, you had that one locked and loaded and ready.
I've
coming.
No, I've done it because like,
I know you have. Oh, there it is. See, your angel's not perfect, people. We all
no,
fall
not
short of the glory from now on.
no, not okay. Wait, not like use like coughing as an excuse. Like I've actually like still been intimate with him, even though like because like I have been laying in the bed and I may have been tired, but like after him rubbing and kissing on me for a minute, I'm like, all right, let's go ahead.
Oh, so he worked you up, got you,
Yeah,
the oven,
and that's my thing. Like it shouldn't feel like a duty. If it feels like if your wife, if having sex with your husband feels like a chore, then that's a sign for the husband something's wrong. Something is seriously wrong.
Yeah, it's a communication.
Whether it be with her or with you, or there's not a connection, because your wife should have a desire to want to sleep with you. And if she doesn't, like this isn't me being funny or anything, like that's serious. It should never be seen as a chore. And the response to that for all the men, because men seem to have this perspective, the response isn't, it's your duty to have sex with me. It's not a chore. It's not a duty. And the fact that your spouse feels like it's a chore to have sex with you, that's a problem. It's a serious problem that needs to be resolved, that you need to fix it. And the way to fix it ain't just spread your legs. No. You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder why she spread her legs and it's like a desert down there, because something's wrong. And it may be something emotional with her, or maybe she just doesn't have a desire to sleep with you anymore. Maybe you don't turn her on anymore. Maybe there is something with you. So rather than just assuming that, women's sex drives is all other stuff, no, it's deeper than that.
Gotcha. Do you see this ridiculous ass comment right here?
He said,
"Is she the prize he finds on the thighs?" No.
You know what?
Gentlemen, and I use the word loosely. And I use the word loosely. Look, hold on. Just one more comment before we move into this video. Tarus, I did not describe that sex isn't for procreation, man. What I said was sex, that's actually its prime function. The prime function, meaning the number one reason why sex is even a thing. However, we do get pleasure from it, and we have the urge to do it. And since procreation is our prime directive, you're gonna need incentive to mate,
right?
And the urge is our incentive to mate.
That's what she was saying.
And
that's what she was saying. It's not a drive; it's an incentive-based need that we have.
Yeah, and that's why for men it's so strong,
right?
Because of our elevated levels of testosterone,
Thank you for saying that. Thank you so much for saying that. Admin, can we cue up the last video, please?
Oh, that's a good segue into the last one.
It is a very good segue.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I think doesn't get quite as much attention as it deserves. So I'm just talk about one study. This was done by a German scientist, looked at 2,500 committed couples, so no small number. The results are probably no fluke. And he measured their desire progressively over time within their committed relationships. The desire starts at right about the same point for the men and for the women. So again, debunking this idea that somehow male desire, male libido is far stronger innately than female libido. But what happens interestingly is that male desire declines gradually over time. Female desire dives much more dramatically than male desire within those committed relationships. And I think two things are worth saying. First, again, at the very least, this calls into question this idea that somehow women are comparatively better suited to monogamy than men are. But second, I think the reason for the disparity showing women even less well-suited sexually for monogamy than men has to do with cultural lessons and their effects on the brain. So I think most of us have heard this phrase, or at least are familiar with the concept of brain plasticity. That is, the brain is shifting neurologically, sometimes slightly, sometimes a significant amount, in response to what we do with it. It's why we're told to do lots of crossword puzzles as we get older. We'll strengthen our memories a bit. That's a sort of simplistic form of the brain plasticity concept. Well, what happens to the brain if we're taught very different lessons about sexuality from early on? Boys are, of course, taught right from the playground, really, that being a little bit of a Romeo, all to the good. Girls are taught a very different and more constrained lesson, even in our seemingly unconstrained society. And that lesson, or those two divergent lessons, continue right on up through high school. You know, I've had firsthand experience with this with a, son and daughter who are now just finishing or just graduate from college. And this, I believe, and I think researchers are starting to look into, this has its effect on the brain. It has its effect on the robustness of those neurological paths that have to do with eros. And I think what we're seeing within the monogamous relationships is that the male neurological sexual pathways being built up over time and being somewhat more robust are in a way more resilient to that natural decline, whereas women's may not be, may need more of a charge, may need more novelty. And so, again, if we're just focusing on sexuality itself, on eros itself, for that reason, women may be feeling even more of a decline than men within those long-term committed relationships.
So what you think?
He just said y'all was weak. What you think?
No.
He said y'all was weak. That's what he just said.
No.
And here's the thing: you oftentimes hear the reverse. Like you hear that a man's sex drive decreases with age. A woman's sex drive increases with age. It's like, no. I mean, but for whatever reason, a switch was flipped in your brain because he's right. A lot of this is just programming, and it starts at a very young age. So you do, in fact, oftentimes, especially it comes with those holy rollies and the Bible thumpers. You know what I'm saying? And when Reverend Hooper Holler would tell women to keep their legs closed, learn how to hold a penny between the knees, all this other stuff, but then would molest the children. You know what I'm saying? And sleep with underage girls in the church. You know, imagine that.
Well,
so anyway, no. What he's saying is like the mother would teach her, don't bring babies home, don't have sex till marriage, don't have sex till marriage. That whole speech. So you're programming them at a very young age to repel intimacy and to repel, human contact to a very high degree. Because I think that is a very important thing. Human contact at that level. Now, granted, you do need it in doses. You don't need to be exposed to it before a certain age. But when you get to a certain age, exposed to some. Right. Another age, as you get older, some more. I think there should be a tier system to it. But today, with the advent of the internet, social media, school, you know what I'm saying, socializing, you're not running away from it. So I think the sooner you have that conversation with your children and stop feeding their heads with just fantasy about this fantasy of abstinence, the better. You need to prepare your children for the world and what's to come in case they make a decision, because they're going to make the decision without you. You're not going to be there when they make the decision.
Right. Well, see, here's the thing. It goes back to in the beginning of the first video, where she was talking about the second video, where she was talking about dual model system, right? You have the inhibitor or the turn on and turn off signal, right? The way we condition boys and girls, you condition boys that, you're supposed to have sex. So they're conditioned more for their turn on signals to be on. Right. But the way we program girls is that is towards their turn off. You see what I'm saying? And when they grow up to be adults and they get in a relationship and then especially when a woman gets married, see, now it's an environment, it's a situation where it's okay to have sex. But guess what? She's been programmed and conditioned to not have sex, to not be sexual. And that switch just doesn't cut on just because I'm married now. You see what I'm saying? And when and that's the point he was making too. Like as we go on, like in committed relationships, women's drive, or their not drive, but their desire dives a lot faster than men, is because she's bored. And she's used to going so long without having that stimulation. So yeah, that's why your wife don't want to sleep with you. Because she's been told everything about sex is negative. It's funny because it's this other video, and I wanted to add it too. But it's just, I had so many videos, and I didn't want to make this a whole 4-hour stream, because I know we also have people who want to come up on the panel.
We don't have to have that if you don't want.
No, it's fine. But the video, the lady was talking about how she, grew up Christian, got married and everything. And in her marriage, like a couple years after they got married, her husband came to her. He had a conversation with her. He was like, we're not having as much sex as I would like. You know what I mean? And she was like, okay, well, she was trying to, work on it. But she was like, and it's not that she didn't desire to have it. She just didn't have an urge to. Going back to, you think about that dual model. When you condition girls that against having sex, that means that turn off switch is more stimulated than the turn on switch, because naturally you're going to have an urge to have sex, especially at that age, because your hormones are going all everywhere. So she's going to have an urge to do it. But when you scare kids and make it seem like sex is something horrible, they're going to hell and stuff like that, then that turn off switch, she learns to do to stimulate that turn off switch more. And then when she gets in a relationship, it causes issues. So long story short, what the woman said she did, she ended up going to a sex therapist. And the first session, the sex therapist was like, so tell me what all the things that you have been taught about sex. And when she had told her, you shouldn't do it before you get married, and you have babies, and and I was going down the list. And the sex therapist was like, well, she was like, everything you've been taught about sex is negative. Why would you enjoy it? Why would you have an incentive to do it? Everything you've been taught about it is negative. You haven't been taught that it's a positive thing.
And then watch when you drop the link. Watch how many those Bible thumpers come up here and say, "I don't care. I'm teaching my girl that sex is bad."
Right, and as a husband, that's the thing. You gonna have to start teaching the young boys. Well, guess what, son? You're gonna have. Don't expect to get too much sex in your marriage, because we've been teaching the girls keep your legs closed. And the switch don't just flip automatically, because now she's all of a sudden unprogrammed.
Exactly. So you're not going to unprogram that, but just by getting married. That takes a long time and a lot of experience to unlock that. Because women never get because those women, they never bother taking the opportunity to learn their bodies.
Right.
And if a woman doesn't know her body,
because everything they've been taught is that it's bad. It's a bad thing. Everything we associate with sex is bad. It's negative. It's negative. So why would I have a desire to do something that in my mind has been programmed as negative? What's so enjoyable, pleasurable about that? When you don't associate sex with pleasure, with love, with joy, with this, with that, then how do you expect someone to have a serious urge to do it?
Here's the thing. Mel has an interesting one. He says, sorry, Mandrell, that's not going to work. It will backfire and she will rebel against your teachings, bro. Okay, Mel. So I'd like you to cam up and say that to me in English next time.
Well, speaking of cam up, everybody, the link has been dropped. So if you'd like to come on the panel and
you know what?
Share your thoughts tonight.
Yeah. Also, hold on. Shout out to Lady Navoa. We cannot overlook this, okay? Lady Navoa has sent us her third cash app for the day. For the night.
Wow.
Yes, no one else has sent anything. So shout out to Lady Navoa. our #1 supporter. We appreciate you. We love you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Lady Navoa.
Thank you.
I want to say, yeah, you can tell I want to say more, but
I know, right?
I'm just not. It's a moment.
We're gonna do the video too, just for that.
And also, people, if I'm gonna say this again, I am doing a live stream this coming Friday. Yeah, it will be this Friday. Mr. Bennett will be joining me. Also, J Speed, OG J Speed will be there as well. So go over to the big picture. I'll drop the link in the chat. Click on the link, go over there and subscribe. Come right back. So, Mr. Bennett, you saw the videos, you've heard the conversation. What say you, sir?
What's that?
I said, how are you today?
I am a little warm, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, look, see this conversation making the Christians rather uncomfortable.
So. I guess so. I wasn't because I came out. I was the first guy that came up, so I don't know.
Yeah, he came up sweating too. Oh man, I gotta talk about.
Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a good thing.
Sometimes a good thing.
Absolutely.
But, all right, brother.
Ralph, again, great show as always. And a couple points. Actually, we did a show on this a couple months ago on our Tuesday night Talk That Tuesday, and we were talking about the idea of how how parents disappointed us in regards to having positive, affirming conversations about sex with us, especially the women. Again, all the women who were on the panel, they were asked a question like, what did your mom share with you about sex? And was it a positive, was it affirming, something to look forward to, something that's tied to your femininity? Because I've always said that with men, I think one of the gentlemen in one of the videos said, for men, their sense of masculinity is tied to their sexuality. Right. And sexuality is also tied to your masculinity. But rarely do you see where a woman's sexuality is tied to her femininity. When we talk about femininity in these spaces, it's almost like an image that, she's quiet, she's dainty, she dresses a certain way or whatever, but no one attaches sex to it. And I think that certainly starts early, as the last video pointed out, that was the best video. How we teach our kids, and especially how we teach boys and girls about sex, is sorely lacking. And I think it's causing a lot of the issues that we're seeing in society, in marriages, etc. So I think certainly if there's anything going to change, we have to think differently. And again, it may be lost on older generations, the baby boomers and Gen Xers, but certainly going forward with younger people, we have to make this a positive, inclusive conversation that gets people, having good thoughts and feelings about it, especially girls. And as far as the Bible thumping thing, that's for me very perplexing, because as much as I've studied scripture, scripture really doesn't make any distinctions really between men and women when it comes to sexuality. Women are imbued with libido and desire, and she has rights when it comes to, the husband pleasing the wife and whatnot. You have a whole book in the Bible, Songs of Solomon, that's devoted to the erotic intimacy between a man and a woman, but you'll never go to church on Sunday morning and hear a sermon on it. So I think that even amongst, people of faith or more conservative people, why this is such an issue is mind-boggling to me. And, I've been very open, and sometimes maybe too open in certain places where I bring up the topic. But yeah, we need to definitely change the conversation on this. And I think it's definitely having an impact on some of the things you see. I think what you said later, Shu Shu, about, when women are just not feeling desire, because yes, I'm married now, but I carry all this baggage of what was taught to me about sex being dirty or something, and it's catching up. So, so I think that has to change. Another thing that was said in the video that I saw that was useful, and I've seen this before, is about those four phases of the cycle of the sexual response cycle.
Oh yeah.
One TED talk I heard one time was that in some cases, especially between men and women, some of those steps get flipped. So it usually starts with desire, where I think men, like I said, men are generally always on. That's why, for a lot of guys, like, we don't have to have even a woman in front of us to feel desire. It just, testosterone just takes over. We get, erections, just out the blue, not even thinking about, we think about anything else. And just also, wow, you look down, something's happening. So it's not always necessary that we need to have a quote unquote stimulus. It's just there. And that drives desire. But with a lot of women, a lot of times it's the arousal that comes before desire. You even made a mention that, you might not be feeling, you might be tired, but once someone starts hugging and kissing on you and whatnot and getting you excited, well, then the desire comes after that, because now you're aroused. And so that's something that, it's been actually recommended by certain people that, even ladies, even if you're not necessarily quote unquote in the mood, the bottom line is if the end result is going to be, you're going to enjoy the experience at the end. It's just a matter of just getting there. So just someone, they just say, just start and see, where you want, and just see where you wind up and see how things go. So that was another point I saw. But, the larger point, I certainly agree that, certainly I think couples need to work on creating an environment where this is easy, to engage and to communicate and to see, explore, each other and, try to be good lovers to one another. But at the same time, I don't think there's necessarily something always wrong with duty. It's like duty is almost like a 4-letter word. And I think that, duty, responsibility, obligation. I mean, Mandrell, you've been in the military. I mean, duty, responsibilities, that's what's built the world that we're in. I mean, so, chores even, chores was good for us because it taught us certain things. But it's like, that we take duty to the extent that it must be doing something that's torturous for us. And I don't like it being used in this context, especially when it comes to this. If like I said, if you know that at the end of the day, you're gonna enjoy the ride.
Right.
Then why do you then put it in the context to say, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like I'm literally torturing you somehow? When we know that we're gonna land in the same place. So I don't like necessarily the association that we oftentimes say, oh, duty,
Yeah.
But I've said just try, because like I said, there've been many times, saying personally, my wife just wasn't. I mean, again, the exhaustion of the day, the whatever, and a lot of times we just start. And there have been times where she's been like, "I'm so glad we did that. Thank you." It's just because you get so caught up in your world, and that's another problem too. We've created a lot of our own dysfunction just because of the complexity that we put into the world. I think this is more, we're just saying it's a developmental world issue. When she's talking about the stresses and whatnot, we made a world that's so complex. And if you look at just developed nations across the board, birth rates in developed nations are on the decline, almost to like dangerous levels. So you look at what's happening in Asia right now, and other countries. I mean, so yeah, we're supposed to reproduce, even though it might not be a drive in the sense that we die. We're not Vulcans, so we're not going to die if you don't have it. But that number of 1.6, meaning that you need to have at least 1.6 kids in order to keep the population going. It has political implications. It has economic, because again, if you start having less kids, who's going to take care of the older people? And we're talking about in this country, talking about the Social Security, that's going to run out because we're just not having as many kids as older generations did. And you're going to have this, you're going to hit this wall at some point. So yeah, so we do, it may not be cost you your life, but it's costing populations. And then the one video that talked about, and I know I'm joking here, but she had so many videos I could comment on each one.
Sorry.
The lady, when she was talking about, oh, well, that sense that you need to have it, you have all these people committed murders and mass acts, but populations in the millions are dropping. So you're always going to have that one guy, that one psychopath who goes out and deletes someone. Yeah. But overall, populations are dropping. I was I shared with Blackman on yesterday's show. I went to a birthday party cookout at a house of these folks were from Sierra Leone. My oldest daughter, is best friends with a girl, and she's from that community. That was the first time I was ever in a community of Africans, and just really in that culture and seeing what the vibe was like. And I saw that it was beautiful to watch. I mean, people in our age bracket, you had married people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. There were a lot of kids. There were a lot of cousins. There was an energy. There was an interaction, and there was just that communal structure. But then I was just at the tip. I just wanted to learn more about the culture, so I started talking to people about it and just asking, like the girls. So, okay, so what do you think? So, is there going to be a time, marriage? Like, when do typically Sierra Leoneans get married and things like that? And she said, about 27 or so. So I said, okay, in about 5 years or so. So, I guess there's going to be a lot of weddings. And a lot of the girls were saying no, because they're not thinking about marriage. They're not thinking about having kids. Then I asked the question, well, are there a lot of single parent women? They said no. So it's like there's certain taboos. Like, so you don't have a lot of baby mamas like you have like in the African American community. But these girls, they're not even thinking about building, creating and sustaining a community that's given them so much. So I think the complexity of the world that we built is such where everything is optional and we don't need this and everything. I think we're going to hit a point where it's going to have massive global impact if we start thinking more and more about sex and family as just being optional, or I don't need that, or I can go without that, or whatever. I don't think, to Mandrell's earlier point, I don't think this is what we were put on this earth not to do. Like, we're supposed to couple and mate and have families and build, but we made everything else important. The job's more important. The fame is more important. I got to get the bag. Everything is so important, and I think we might be losing something in the long run. And certainly, certain economies are already seeing it. It's going to affect us at some point. So I think we have to start thinking about, one, creating a positive environment for the teaching of sex. To your earlier point, I certainly agree with that. But also the idea of, it's good to come together and have families, whatnot, that it shouldn't be just an accessory, that this is everything else, should almost come secondary when it comes to this, at least for most people. But if more and more people have this mindset that it's not that big a deal, I think we're all going to pay in the long run at some point in time. So, but thank you for, that very long stroke. But it gave you a lot to think about. And, but again, as always, kudos for creating this space to have these conversations. I think they've been terrific over the last few weeks.
Yes. And you are very welcome for me to allow you on this show. But you're welcome also for me allowing you on my show. Okay, you're welcome for that. I decided to give you a reprieve and a blessing tonight, okay, of my magnificence. Don't worry about it. It's okay. No words needed. You're quite welcome.
You can stop it.
Right.
Wait, who's next? Mel, hold on. 1 second. I want to get Mel, because Mel, I need you to speak to me in English. What did you mean in the comment?
Not me. What up, Mel?
Yeah. What up, Mel?
What's up?
What up, B? Not me?
Well, I said, what's up? What's up? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a comment.
Hello, Hello. What's up, Mandrell? You want me to announce his name, Mandrell?
No, I'm just kidding with you, man. I'm kidding. Everyone, I'm kidding. Hopefully, y'all going to be able to tell the difference between jokes and whatnot tonight. But yeah, Mel. Because I wanted you to flesh out your comment from earlier, man. Which is cool. Yeah.
But here's the thing, man. You said you're gonna be real strict with teaching your daughter about sex. Don't have
no. I wasn't gonna say that. I was saying people go wrong when they do that.
Right.
They teach this fallacy and this fiction of abstinence. I mean, nature's gonna beat that out any day of the week.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Nature wants you to procreate. It wants you to mate. You know what I'm saying? And your body's gonna pull to that.
So what
You know
do
what I'm
you?
saying?
So what do you tell a kid?
You just prepare them for it, man.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
You tell them the way. You tell them to wait for marriage, of course. You tell them sex is a good thing. It's fantastic. It's terrific. It's stupendous. You know, but wait for marriage.
Yeah, that would have worked.
That's when you do it.
That would have worked in 1995. Let me
I
tell
mean,
you
yeah,
why.
exactly. But that's why I say prepare them.
Right.
You tell them to wait for marriage. Tell them to wait for marriage, but we all know that ain't gonna work,
I was going to have someone on my show on Tuesday, a young lady, and she does therapy for a living, and I was excited about her coming, and then she sent me a text message and said, I can't come tonight. And I said, why? She said, I have to cancel this couple. I said, for what? They caught their 10-year-old daughter using a dildo on herself and her friends at a sleepover.
Fascinating.
And they don't even know how she got. And they don't even know how she got the dildo.
Hey, there you go. You're not talking to your kids. There's no communication going on in that house.
I guess one of the friends maybe have brought it over.
Maybe.
But keep in mind, this was a lesbian couple, so she may have caught her mama one night.
Oh, it might be her mama's. You know what I'm saying? One of them. She got two.
But that's another thing, man. We don't have a healthy conversation with children when it comes to sex and things like this. This is one of the things that happens. Kids experiment and without having the proper conversations, the understanding. We have an extreme mindset of fear-based and everything. It gets too crazy to when for a girl, sometimes when she gets older, she rebels against the teachings of them using church, religion, scarcity and everything about sex. And we see where they ground up at. I mean, we talk to a lot of strippers in the sex work industry. Most of them rebelled against their background from their parents, how they teach them with a lot of fear-based mindset. Even goes even extreme with some dudes who technically become the pedos that way also too, because they was raised under a background of fear-based mindset of sex, how their bodies turned on and everything. So it's like they don't know how to handle it, so they experiment on their own and they will go crazy like that. So that's
right. But who gets hurt the most in that situation? When a girl rebelled, 95% of them will boomerang right back to the place after they get broken down and ran through. They run right back to mom and dad, the same people that told them to try to get them to do the right thing. That happens a lot. They'll go out into the world and they'll end up broken, and then they'll come back. I need you, daddy. I need you, mama.
Well, that's because they need help. But like but what you're not understanding is, like, man, fear-based teaching about sex is causing more problems for your daughters, like down the line, which is why so many married men are talking about they're having issues in the bedroom in their marriage. And that's why they throw this whole term, oh, it's duty. Like, it's your duty to have sex with me. No, it's not. And which is why I keep trying to get y'all to see sex should never feel like a chore. It should never feel like a duty. And you know why? You know why it turns into a chore or a duty? Is because she's been taught since she was however age. Number one, she probably didn't even was schooled or counseled about sex. She was just told you're not supposed to do it. It's a bad thing. It's dirty. It's wrong. You can have babies. You better not bring no babies in here. And you better not do it with nobody else other than your husband, because you're going to go to hell, or ain't no other man going to want you. You ain't no good now, because you're spoiled goods now. You ain't no good.
What
I was saying.
Hold on. That's not it though. I disagree. Let me tell you why.
But
because a lot of the Southern parents, well, I don't know about everybody's mom and dad, but my mama, for instance, she always encouraged us. She didn't beat us across the head with the Bible or beat us across the head. She just said, "Hey, this is what you need to read this, right? Because this is what we raised. So take some time to read it, right? It wasn't a forceful thing, right?" And so it does say in that moment, do not deprive your husband. Wives, do not deprive your husbands. Husbands, don't deprive your wives unless you both agree. And then it goes into the temptation part of it, saying, if you get to a point, come back together. But if you don't, this starts to build up on a man and temptation starts to eat at him. tremendously. And that so we can take the Bible out of it. Take a man that gets with his wife and they're having sex for years. I mean, they banging it out. And he's so used to having sex with his wife, and all of a sudden she stops. And there's no reason, no rhyme or reason, or I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. What happens in a man's head, I'm telling you right now, from a man's perspective, when a man has a wife and he ain't getting none, and that build up happens to him, it affects his every move. It affects what he does. It affects his frustration. Some men to be angry. They frustrated. They want to, they'll cuss your ass out, and then it goes from that into the second stage, which will be the nice little girl that always pass by while you're drinking your coffee at work. And she said, "Oh, you smell great today." Then it goes into something else. And then now, because we're in 2023 and women outnumber men by 2 million, we're looking at like, okay, my wife at home not giving me none. I'm not promoting this, but this is what happens. This is reality. We're having a real conversation. If a man has a buildup, he ain't thinking. He don't think about, he thinking it makes him selfish a little bit. And that woman starts to look good to him, he'll go out and cheat on his wife. Oh, that's for sure. And he won't say nothing. He'll go and fill that void that she's not feeling. And some wives are to the point where I don't want to do it anymore. I don't feel like it. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna land my plane. I saw an episode of Oprah a long time ago. I walked in on my aunt watching it, and a lady said she was having sex with her husband. It just wasn't right. She didn't want to do it. She didn't feel like doing it no more. And after years of him telling her to go to the doctor, she never went. And so they were having sex. She said she would fake it. And then after she faked it, she would go in the lunch room and put her vagina, her clit, on the edge of a clothes basket, like to turn it over, and she would stroke herself out and get an orgasm.
She put a what on it now?
She would turn the basket over, and she said she would put her vagina on it and rub the corner of the basket on her clit till she came. After she had sex with her husband when she couldn't come.
And she didn't think she needed to see a doctor.
She went to the doctor. The doctor told her she had a deformity in her vagina that caused her sensitivity not to be, enlarged when she's having sex with her husband. So it's not him, it was her. She had surgery and been having orgasms ever since. But for years she blamed her husband. I'm not attracted to him. I didn't want him sexually. He didn't turn me on, but it was a deformity within herself. And Oprah paid for the surgery, and she had this surgery, and she was, ever since then, she been busting them left and right. So sometimes
Oprah, you get an orgasm. You get an orgasm.
See, there's another factor to that also too. Not to your story, but for other women, we see from our perspective. Yes, all of a sudden she stopped giving us sex out of nowhere. But in most marriages, in most cases, most women not desired by their husbands the way we thought we did anyway. Period. People marry for multiple different reasons. Women will use sex for multiple different reasons also too.
But that's not fair. That's not fair to
me. It
may
not be. I know we know it's not fair, but it is what it is.
If a woman does it to a man, but if a woman does it to a man, you have to be understanding. But if a man does it to a woman, he ain't shit. And so let me tell you what happens. Just because why you don't want to have sex with your wife, man? I'm not attracted to her ass no more. Unless she don't look like she looked when we got together, right? And if you said it in front of a group of women, you know I'm not lying. If you said it in front of a group of women, I ain't having sex with her no more because she don't look the same. That's still your goddamn wife. I know you ain't disrespecting your wife the much that she have to go through and all the shit she have to do for her family and going through body changes and hormonal changes. And you
but like I said, most marriage couples, they have a high sexual attraction towards each other, period. That's why you got a lot of sexless marriage out there like the way it is.
And also you gotta keep in mind, Blackman and Unfiltered, they don't even go that long with it anymore. They just flat out call the guy gay and call it a night.
Yep.
Yeah.
These days. Anyway, lost in translation. You've been sitting here listening. Okay. What do you think of tonight's show? What do you think of the new data that we presented?
I think that's a fantastic show, man. Y'all
doing a fantastic show. Are you gonna come to my show on Friday?
Oh yeah.
You need to tune in.
Oh, I'm gonna be there, man. But I got a show Friday too, and y'all going.
Yours come after mine. Mine in the afternoon.
Oh no.
I'm on when nobody else is. Nobody else is on YouTube.
I like competition.
I ain't want to clash with Black with Unfiltered. Don't want to clash with Sir Hale.
I did move it up though to 8 o'clock.
You stopping your sister's conversation right now. Uh-oh.
With
My
what?
bad. You should introduce your show at the beginning of the show, at the end of the show, and during breaks. Your sister has a great conversation tonight, and you're asking everybody to come that comes up here, are they going to come to your show on Friday?
Well, yeah.
Shu Shu, is this being? Look at Shu Shu face. Look at Shu Shu face.
It's been her
continue.
conversation all
That's
night.
right. Show etiquette.
Oh,
Show some
listen,
etiquette. There you
you've been
go.
talking 90% of this show tonight, so I don't want to hear that from you, lady.
You fat, bald-headed, no-neck midget. I sentence you to 3,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man.
That's for you, Blackman Unfiltered. Fat, black, no-neck, having midget.
Lemon berry,
lemon pledge.
Need a step stool to put gas in the car, ass nigga.
Lost in translation.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the show, man. And I'm gonna tell you like this.
Uh-oh.
The main problem is that folks just lazy, man. That's all.
Man,
to
come
it. Is they just lazy, man. Think about it. Like Shu Shu said earlier, I'm not in the mood. I don't find you attractive. I don't want to do this. And I've had all these experiences, and my parents have told me that sex was bad. Well, how come the side chick ain't having that same problem?
Oh my God.
Why is it that she afraid of sex like the wife is? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
It is a simple solution. Stop being lazy. You know what I mean? Start dating each other all over again. Put on some R&B. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes sit and just talk and rub each other's back and look into each other's arms and tell you how much you love each other from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Just simple stuff. You know what I mean? Intimacy starts way before sex. You know what I mean? Call in the middle of the day, say, baby, you know what? I was just thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? That thing that you do, what you do with that thing that you do. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you know what I'm saying? You got to do that. You got to do that.
The thing that you do.
You like talking about what I said earlier. That thing.
You don't even do that thing. You don't even do that thing.
You in her DM, I'm in her mouth, we not the same. Flipping the funk, the heat, the fire, got the flame.
That's what I'm talking about.
No, I'm not.
Sometimes you got to hit her up, man, and be like, baby, guess what?
I want me some glory hole.
You better talk to me. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell her. You gotta tell her, man. You gotta let her know, baby. You've been on my mind. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes we just sap the doggone sugar out of sweet tea. We try to make all this stuff about what it ain't. We want to talk about jobs, the kids. Turn all that stuff off. Make a date at least once a week. You know, that is your boo. You know what I'm saying? That is the person you said you want to spend the rest of your life with. You should date her every now and then. Take her out. You know what I mean? Take on a vacation every 7 months. You know what I mean? Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Remember, this is why you're doing what you're doing. And if you ain't doing it, then what you doing? That's all I got to say.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's the thing. You can get a job 8 hours, but can't give your man 45 minutes.
Right, Jedi Mike.
That's why they got.
Jedi Mike. You just came back from San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
How was it, man? How was it?
It was good. My first Comic Con, I was doing press interviews and everything. So on the back end, I met a lot of people. I interviewed a bunch of other content creators and stuff like that too. So yeah, right now I'm kind of just recovering, having jet lag and everything. But yeah. So
yes. Okay. Now here's the thing. Now, Jedi Mike, what do you think of tonight's show? What do you have to contribute?
Well, he's a newlywed, so I know he got something to talk about. Come on, newlywed.
He just started. He ain't got nothing to talk about.
What?
You newlywed, Jedi. Word. How was it like?
It's going good. I'm blessed.
Yeah, Mike, what's it like?
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
Mike, is it everything that I dreamed of?
Pictures, brother. Beautiful wedding, beautiful pictures, man.
Yeah, I got the photographer. The pictures coming on Saturday, but I'll let y'all know.
Oh, the wedding photos.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got your room soundproofed?
What are you talking about?
I know your neighbor will be knocking on the door. Hey, keep the noise down.
Well, I'm actually I'm on the top floor though, so they just might feel some turbulence.
So you're knocking the roof off. Okay, head up on
What do you think of tonight's show?
We get grooming.
What do you think of the topic? The videos, the new data that we presented to the audience.
Broom.
I thought it was a good show and everything. You were right. In terms of, sexual drive can also be a biological thing, but also sometimes it can be mental in terms of like, you not have no spice in relationship because you not have, being creative in terms of actually, dating your spouse again, even regardless if you're married or not. I understand that I'm like on like, ground one of this marriage life and everything. I understand that in year 20, definitely things gonna change physically. I'm not gonna be naive with that, especially when children come involved and stuff like that, right? And but I understand that again. It's just like the spice in the relationship and everything that when you're talking about, well, if I just get on this other side of this person, because now like she ain't giving me what I want, and I'm gonna go, try to go get this side piece or whatever. Again, they always think the grass is green on the other side, but that's not really true. The grass is green where you water. What do you invest into? And like I do my lawn, I put that work in. I trim those edges.
Now, Jedi. Now, I will say this, Jedi. When you talked about the kids, I can relate. Just like Driscoll can also relate. And I think he got 6 kids. She just had her 7th, maybe. Driscoll, if I'm wrong, let me know. But they still getting it in, right? Because she's still getting pregnant. And they don't baby numbers Driscoll and his wife. And so, they still getting it in because she's still getting pregnant. And even over at my crib, we ain't gonna have no it ain't no duty to get that booty. It's just, you go, oh yeah, Driscoll. So he just put in there 8 and counting. So his wife, they're still getting it in. So when it comes to marriage and having children, you just got it, like Lost in Translation said, you got to make time for it.
Yeah.
Hell, I could be on my way back from Walmart and I'd be like, you know what? Hey, they building the house over there. Ain't nobody over there. It can be anything.
Exactly, right.
It can be anything.
Right? We went to go see Barbie last night and stuff right there, right? And let me tell you something. It's like, there might be a big screen though, but you got those Tuesday night showings. Nobody really going to those things.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So that's what, all of a sudden just bring the spice in the relationship, have some time, light the candles, and turn them off.
Yep.
That's how you do it.
Right.
That's it.
Don't forget to go in the dark goggles.
And we all adults here. You could be riding down the road and be like, "Hey, baby, you want to sit on my face for a couple of minutes?" I mean, it could be anything.
Come on, man. That's right. You got to splash it on them. Splash it on them.
Wait, hold on. Look at this because he is stunting out. I'm gonna get to you. Don't worry about it. Look at him. He's stunting out. Look at where he is.
Bro, I'm in my freaking neck cave.
No, that's all right, Teresa. I'll get to you. Don't worry about it. We gonna address that.
Why is
I'm just chilling, bro. I'm just chilling.
Why he's so damn little?
Chilling? Look at the setup.
What are you I gotta adjust the camera and stuff.
Always the yellow skin. Always the yellow skin, man.
Yeah, he's a man. I'm just chilling.
Tell him, Teruse, you ain't small. Your couch just big.
You're right. Huge couch.
Hey, grooming review came in. I think next though, grooming reviews.
Yeah, grooming and reviews. Go. Energized.
Okay. I have mentioned the last couple of streams, and before I jump down, I'm surprised you haven't been canceled after last night, but that's a different conversation.
Hey, what's up? It was tough.
Yeah, but I may have mentioned last couple of times I was with a beautiful woman for 3.5 years. I went from 3.5 years getting it every single night for 3.5 years. I mean, we didn't skip a night. She goes to me a couple of times like, "You're working tonight." I'm like, "What the fuck? I'm working for? You're doing a job. You want this more than I do." But that was the best relationship sexually I had, and romantically, and everything. So it doesn't have to be a chore. If you love your wife, you love your girl, you love the person you're next to, you love the person who's sleeping with you, you love the girl who's having your lollipop every night. It's not a chore. We used to joke around who's gonna work, but that's our little joking. Going after 3.5 years, getting detox literally overnight like that for 8 months. I'm like, God, I feel like a goddamn crack addict right now. Like not getting any. So
the
when I hear
withdrawals are
people,
horrible.
I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, withdrawals are horrible.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. But going from a very healthy sexual relationship and everything, and I hear people cheating on their wives or girlfriend, like, dude, if you're not happy with them, it's two ways to do this. Say something to them and how to fix it, or end the relationship, because it's less hurt saying, I'm not attracted to you anymore. I don't love you anymore. I want to move on with my life. There's nothing wrong with that. People do fall out of love. And I agree with Homeboy said you have to date your wife to marry her. I use one of my really good friends, my buddy who does popular culture, CQ. He told me he's with his wife for like 20 years. Like, dude, how do you do it? I went to him one day. He goes, simple. I date my wife. I looked at him like, the fuck? He goes, yeah, I date my wife. I take her out. We go to hotels on purpose. We go on cruises. We go for dinner. We go for drinks. We go for bowling. We go to movies. Oh, that's who I actually look over and for advice. He's one of my best friends. I'm going to always ask advice from my best friend. But that's who I see as a good relationship. Not even my parents. My parents literally separated about 3 years ago over a steak. I'm not joking. Over a yep. Thank you. I know the looks I'm getting in steaks. Obviously, other more things in the relationship that I didn't know, but the steak was the breaking point. Yeah, I know I'm getting looks on this one, but I thought that was a healthy relationship. But it was the opposite. It was a toxic relationship. They were arguing. My mom hasn't gave in to my father for about 38 years.
Damn!
I'm not surprised. That's what I said earlier, man. Most couples are incestuous marriages.
Over a steak who get the last bite.
Hell no.
What's up, bud?
No, most couples are incestuous marriages. Like, they don't have a high sexual attraction towards each other, and unfortunately, they feel like they have to be with each other as a form of a duty. That's why I agree with Susan when she was saying earlier, if you have to use that word duty or something like that, like a chore or something like that, then you already know it's something wrong.
Right.
I would never use that word against my significant other. Like, I feel like she's supposed to have a duty to have sex with me. She's supposed to have a high sexual trial towards me on her own free
agree
will.
100%.
All I could do is influence it, best of my abilities, to, like you said, date my wife, romanticize her, think about everything. But she has to naturally want to have sex with me on her own free will. And if she doesn't, then you know what? I have to evaluate the relationship. Either I'm going to have to make the harsh choice. In reality, she's just not into me no more, or never was, or I just have to let her go, period. And move on to someone else that's going to be highly sexual into me the way I'm into them.
I agree 100%. And honestly, I'll use my ex that I had a very healthy relationship. It isn't a part of this house that I didn't have her. At the chair, on the dog bed, on the couch, on the table, on the sink. You name it.
Dog bed.
Yes. It started on the couch, on the bed, then ended up on the dog bed.
You did it on the roof too? On the roof?
Yeah, why not? I did it on the sink too.
Hey,
my man.
but let me finish with my parents. What I was saying, they had a toxic relationship. They said we stayed with you together for you. No. Don't keep me that fucking bullshit. I went to them. How many parents are divorced and have a healthy relationship? A lot. So they use that. But the biggest problem with their relationship, they used to listen to everybody's rumors out there saying, "Oh, John was cheating. That's my father. Oh, Anna was cheating." Like, nobody was cheating. They listened to everybody else, and that's how their sex marriage ended years ago.
No,
and that's not right either. Like, I'm a big believer of one big saying: mind your fucking business and stay out of mine. Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not in your relationship. I'm not in your relationship. If you're coming for my advice, yeah, but I don't want to get involved. It's all saying, like I said, mind your fucking business. And that is the biggest problem a lot of people have. They don't know how to mind business. They try and get nosy and stuff like that. Like, mind your fucking business. Simple. What do you care who I'm dating? I got crucified.
They can speak on it.
Yeah, I don't care a shit about age, short, skin, tall, anything. If you have a good heart, that's what I look for at the end of the day. She was older. We were 10 years apart. I'm not embarrassed of it. She was drop down gorgeous. I used to walk down and people looking at me like, yep, that's my girl, all right. And like, you're going, look, you're human. I didn't care you look. If you touch, I'm going to break your goddamn arm off and shove it up your ass. But I can do it too. Don't test me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Grooming and Reviews. Thank you so much for that. Beautifully animated speaks. What you got on the subject?
You know, well, I don't even know. I know, right? I don't even know why we're talking about sex because girls get pregnant from kissing boys.
Right.
Well, actually,
had a lot of babies.
That is true. That's true. You do get, because you kiss me, you definitely gonna get pregnant. So absolutely, you kiss me, you gonna get pregnant. My wife kissed me, she got pregnant. Absolutely. So yeah, you can get pregnant from kissing for damn sure.
Disgusting.
But it's the not wanting to talk about sex and the lies that the parents and older people would tell their children that did some damage too, because they believed it.
Right. Yeah.
So
I
as
think
long as I
parents
have
don't
sex
think
with this
kids
I
person
mentioned that earlier.
and don't kiss this person, I can have sex.
Right.
I think a lot of parents knew their daughters was gonna be hoes and they tried to stop them. And I
You
think
know
a
what?
lot of parents knew that their sons was going to be hoes and they tried to stop them. And they looked at like a young lady at my job pissed me off because I was showing family pictures of my kids and she saw my oldest son. She said, "Oh wow, yeah, he probably got somebody pregnant right
Excuse
now."
me.
I was like, "Why would you say that shit?"
One second. Hey, do I perform my civic duties?
No co-signing, man. No co-signing around here.
Hey, Miss Mike, how you doing, Miss Jedi? Mrs. Jedi, how are you?
Mrs. Jedi.
Hey, Miss Jedi, how you doing?
That's so sweet.
Oh, look at whoa. He finna go do what all these other men can't do in their marriage.
Yeah, Mike, tell her to get back in there and make you some. Tell her to get in the kitchen and make you some grits.
Make me a sandwich also.
Don't be like Black David. Don't be like Black David soaked in and jump across the couch.
Putting them Jedi mind tricks on the toaster. I am the freaking
Black David lost the translation. But Black David soak himself in baby oil, jump across the couch, hollering and shit. Talking about, let's go.
So how you went from this to babies?
What?
How we went from food to babies to babies.
I want to get you Blackman for that. I want to get you.
Because you know, if boys and girls kiss, they get pregnant.
Right.
So Jedi Mike's is next because he just kissed his wife.
Wait.
But you know what though? That is a true statement.
Kissed your wife, so she's gonna get pregnant. That's the rules.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have 20 kids, I guess.
I feel like he's looking for her right now.
30 babies coming up.
By your analogy.
Wait,
what'd you say? Repeat that. What'd you say?
Y'all two kiss, you're gonna have a baby.
30 of them.
We 2 kids, we're gonna have a baby.
See what happens. Just again,
we're gonna have 10 kids, girl. What you talking about?
Oh, that's right. Be fruitful and multiply.
Come on, Doc.
You ain't gonna have no 10 kids. It's more like 15, 20.
Oh,
Jedi Mike ain't joking. You got to be stroking. Come on, Jedi.
Y'all cutting up.
He's trying to beat the Wayne's family, man. They got 10 kids.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get out of here. Lost in translation is absolutely correct. It is. You gotta date your wife, and you gotta pop up out the blue and say, "Hey, I got a hotel room this weekend." Right? We're not in the real husbands are not in the mood to be asking no questions. If I came through that door from work, I'll tell my wife now. I wish I'd call her in here now. Baby, she sleep. Baby, get your bag. It's time to go. Where we going? Don't ask me no questions. Just get in the truck. Let's go. Right? And we'll go get a hotel room and we'll go Friday night and we won't come back here till Sunday.
That's right.
And so we'll go do that. And it's not all about just sex. I mean, that's gonna happen, but it's not all about that. We'll go walk. We'll go and look at different stuff. Look online on things to do in that area. What are they having? Just to have some time with each other. And so I think that's what it is. You got to continue to date. It's 14 years for me, and so you got to continue to date. You got to continue to date, also, men, understand that evolution is inevitable. Your wife may like roses when you first got married, but she may like lilies today. And so you have to be informed on what your wife like and how she changes over the years, because my wife used to like roses. I'm giving you that example. And now she like lilies. And then so a year, 2 years from now, she may like daisies. And so I got to stay on top of what it is when she changes into something else. So that's I'll land my plane there. And you guys have a great night.
Thank you, BMU.
You got to get it in so you can get it in.
We're gonna get the baby away and do his little stunt off the dresser right now. That's why he's leaving.
I gotta go, y'all. I've been summoned.
All right, man, no problem.
Have a good day.
All right, now we're gonna segue right over to Ruse from the fucking Carmack Cinema 16.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, man.
Hey, I like you, Tyrese. I like
Like
you,
I
brother.
said, you sitting in there stuck. Look at him
I
stuck out.
tried to turn this into like the man cave, and my daughters done took it over, so I only watch movies down here now. It's like, yeah, it's cool. It's everybody it's an entertainment room, so it's cool.
Yeah, that's what I meant by stunting out. He's sitting in a movie theater. And we're sitting in front of a computer.
Hey, I ain't even done yet either. Hey, wait till it's fully done.
Tyrese,
Yeah, that's what I meant by
Tyrese,
stunting out. I was like, look at him.
Hey, Tyrese, before I get out of here, I see you got that double sub with the center blast in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
BM, behind the couch, too, I got the 10-inch.
The 10,
right behind
that's
it,
what I was
too.
looking for. I saw the 10-inch on the side, the double sub with the two. Yeah, I like that, brother. That room is banging,
Yeah,
brother.
see, you're a man of culture, you know, sir. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, what are those speakers? I have Pro Logics. What do you have?
These are the clips. I can't ever say that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool,
but my receiver dated, man. I got that. I need a new Denon receiver because the AV receiver kind of dated, so it ain't putting enough power in the speaker, so it get that fuzzy sound.
Yeah.
That's that
maybe
buzz.
you should try Sonos. Sonos got a great one.
Man, I heard they the best in the wireless game too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk about it later. Go ahead. See what you got to say. My bad.
For sure.
Well, how you done? How you doing?
It's good seeing everybody on the panel.
What's up? So
I agree with grooming.
Hold up. Reclaiming my time because everybody got in on my time. Firstly, I was honest with my daughter and the nieces and nephews and stuff like that about sex. I said I told them that the easiest way to not have sex is to not have sex, because once you turn on that switch, it's on.
Right.
There is no turning it off. Like, I've been celibate for 8 years, right? But when I first stopped having sex, the withdrawals are horrible. Horrible.
Okay.
I mean, I got to one point and I was like working at my school, whatever, and I could feel like all the vibrations. I could feel the vibrations of people walking on the floor, the vibrations of the computers making noise in the air. I'm just sitting there like, what's wrong? You leave me alone. Don't even talk to me because your voice is making vibrations. Like, go somewhere.
Right.
It lasted for months. I thought it was gonna go away in weeks. No, it lasted months.
Oh wow.
So this just added to like my nerves. My nerves are bad. And also like you don't have to worry about like when you take time to get to know a person and you wait to find a person that you're going to be in a serious relationship with, that's when you can maybe pick a person to lose your virginity with, like hopefully your mate. But if that is not the case, you don't want to do it too early and have a bad experience. Thank you. A bad experience, and then you don't want to. You may not want to have sex at all anymore, or whatever happens from this bad situation. A bad experience. So yeah, I just told them you have to be really smart about it, and once you lose your virginity, ain't no getting it back. You can become celibate at some point, but there's no getting your virginity back. And really, virginity, I feel, is so important because that is your birth experience. That if you mess it up getting with the wrong person, that's a huge regret. That a regret that will follow you. Now, to us grown people about sex, I know, you know what I'm saying? If the mind is a powerful thing, well, in words. So I'll start with the words. Words have power, especially if used correctly. I mean, men, you can caress the hell out of a woman's body by using the right words. I mean, she'll just spit all over. And if you can recall good sexual encounters, you can meditate on those moments and have an orgasm. Like I had found that out like when I started meditating. I was just like, hold up. You can your body will react to what's in your mind, what you recall and things of that matter, and you will physically feel it. So that's how I get through my celibacy. Meditation.
Meditation.
Yum, 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 yum.
Okay.
Just for a record, this
right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
That is hilarious, man. Check it out. Here's the thing, man. I think we do a bad job of telling kids what the deal, what's the purpose of sex. You know what I'm saying? And I think parents don't have. I think parents don't have the time to explain all the consequences. It's just easier for them to say, "Don't do it." You know what I'm saying? And they don't. What they should do is they should sit down and have a conversation with them and say, "Hey, look, we're gonna talk about this thing today. So go get your tea and get your snacks. You know what I'm saying? Let's go and talk about this thing." I tell them in this proper context, marriage is amazing. Now, if you mess this up and you get some side babies and your new man don't want to have nothing to do with you and your kids, then we're gonna have a problem. You know, all the little weird nuances that come along with stuff like that. But kids need to know that it is a possibility, or you can get some type of disease, and then you turn around and you meet the love of your life, and you can't give them the love of your life. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's one thing for you to try to steer people away from a situation when they're not ready, than it is to just sit up here and just say, "Hey, don't do this, don't do that." You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta let kids know, listen, physically your body is capable, but mentally and spiritually you're not ready yet. You know what I'm saying? And here's why. And then you explain that to them. They're like, well, Dad, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I said, when you get married and is you and your wife, oh, baby, let me tell you something. It's going to be good. You know, man, your mama be back. Oh, that's another story. But listen, when you get married, you can have all the fun that you want to. That's going to be the best time you ever had with your spouse. Enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you tell them some consequences. Now, if you do this out of order, you know, some things might not go right. You know what I'm saying? Your life might not go as the way, you know, you would like it to. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, sex is good. And just leave it at that. But we just do a bad job of having the conversation. And you need to tighten that up and stop being so weird about it. You know, your kid's gonna do it one day anyway when they get grown. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well, you know, go and tell them the truth. Be like, hey, look, there's the reason why you're here. So let's talk about it, you know, and leave it at that. And have a good time. Enjoy life, because tomorrow ain't promised. Right. You don't want your kids learning sex from Tyrone from around the block. You know what I'm saying? Tyrone to be around here telling you, man, you need to go down there and get all the girls you can get. Or you can tell your daughter you need to go down there and sleep with all the boys you can get. And then next thing you know, Mama, I got something to tell you. Too late. Y'all done messed around, let Tyrone
No,
beat y'all
they
to the
ain't
punch.
saying that. They ain't gonna say that because I
What they
didn't.
gonna say?
I said,
They had to find out the hard way. Mama, like, what's wrong with you?
Y'all let's get let Tyrone get in here.
Yeah.
Come on, Tyrone.
Waiting.
Oh man, I'm liking this conversation. I think I agree with grooming a lot. Most of y'all know I've been married for 15 years now, keeping it going, and best way to keep it fresh is to always be who she fell in love with in the first place. Like for example, and I told y'all this before, I'm a big road trip guy. Just because I got married doesn't mean I stopped doing road trips. If I'm taking my wife on dates on a regular, just because we get married means what? No more date night, no more going out, no more movie night, no more. Hey babe, let's go check this out for the first time. Hey babe, I got these tickets. Let's go over here. Even when you got kids, yes, we all know what it's like trying to raise kids. Even if you got like nieces and nephews and things like that, it's a struggle. But eventually, those kids are gonna get to the point where, hey, they at school, or hey, they going to a sleepover with their friend's house. Hey, babe, let's go to this comedy show. Hey, babe, they just opened up this new bar. Just little things like that keeps the relationship fresh the entire time. Just the simplest things, right? You're like going. I know some of us guys, we don't like maybe a whole lot of crowds like that, but simply going to one of your wife's, weddings on the weekend, her friend's wedding, that's enough. Right? Yeah. Sometimes your wife will get turned on just because you remember what sandwich she liked and you ordered that when she got home from work or whatever it is she's doing. Oh my God, babe, bam. And it's already ready. The kids go to bed, it's over. Right? What trips up a lot of guys is that we get comfortable and complacent after a while when we're in a relationship, right? When we talk about I know we're talking about sexual desire, but before sexual desire comes intimacy, right? That goes hand in hand, and that has to be intertwined, because if either one is slacking, then you got to imbalance and it can go sideways, right? So that's got to be paired. But most importantly with guys too is another C word: consistency. Like, if this is who I am, don't get stale. You can be who you are and still evolve that particular person, right? Like, for example, and I'm gonna land my plane, right? Everybody starts off, if you're in a trade and you're doing like metalworking or whatever like that, you start off as an apprentice, but eventually you can open up your own business or whatever, your small business. You making mad money, doing welding and things like that, right? It's a process. It's an evolution of who you still were. And that's the same thing as guys got to remember, like, we still got to evolve. It's not about with our women. It's not about careers. It's about us individually evolving who we are. That's how you keep that relationship fresh.
Right. Exactly. Thank you so much for that, Charles. Thank you. I know we've been going, it's almost at a 2.5 hour mark. Thank y'all for coming. We're going to go into final thoughts. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess how we going to start? Mel, we're going to start with you. Final thought?
Oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Shout out to MF Doom, know what I mean? RIP, my G, know what I mean?
Leave Mel alone.
He's a New Yorker. I got to get it.
No, he's not in New York.
I am New York, but damn, we don't sound like that from New York. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this country, Bama, right here.
I'm just see, I told you he was New York. Listen, Bama. Bama, he calls me. New York. He's a New Yorker, just like Bolo.
Andrew would not survive in New York.
Who wouldn't? I do every time I go there, bro. I love that city.
Yeah, you be in Midtown Manhattan. Why don't you come to the Bronx? Everybody go to Midtown Manhattan. That's different.
Mel, he will not come to Brooklyn. Trust me. They were like,
exactly.
Shut up.
Should we take him to Harlem now or later?
Take him there first, then bring him to Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
Come to Harlem. Go to Harlem. Not Midtown. Come to Harlem.
Yeah, Harlem cool.
Harlem changed, man. Also,
whatever. And so did Brooklyn. And the white girls are taking that over. They left y'all in the gray terminal over there.
You know what?
Slow.
Go with your makeup
downtown
on.
Brooklyn. We going uptown.
Anyway, Mel, give us your final
Downtown
thoughts,
Brooklyn
man.
changed, but the rest of Brooklyn did not.
Give us your final
Exactly.
thoughts,
Let's go to
Mel.
Mars. Yeah.
I mean, I heard so. I
Mel,
know
what
how
you
to
got
do
for us for final thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me up. But yeah, I mean, we gotta have those uncomfortable conversations when we hook up with our significant partners, man. Like, you know, when it comes to sex and everything, means what turns you on, how's your energy level. I mean, and just like the brother said earlier, man, like how you met your partner, you gotta learn to keep it up. Even despite years come, body changes, you still gotta keep your health up to be sexual desire for each other and stuff to the best of your ability. Because I mean, you become stagnant, let yourself go, things happen, and that's how technically a affair starts or breakup starts. Right behind it, the process that could have been avoided if you know how to communicate with each other and stuff, and understand each other, and even be real with your own self. Also, too. I mean, some cases you got to understand that you might be with someone that's not highly sexually attracted to you the way you are to them, and you got to be willing to make a sacrifice to let that go and move on to someone else that actually will match your sexual level desire. That way, I mean, not everybody's meant to be together like that and stuff.
Yeah.
Or some couples do break up like that,
That's true.
fall apart. So, but and when it comes to the kids, raising our kids, yeah, times are changing now and stuff like that, especially with social media. So you gotta have a healthy preparing sexual talk with your children and stuff. I mean, we expecting them. We know how the school systems are now and stuff like that. I don't even trust the school systems. I'd rather teach my kids sex now these days like that. So they're gonna get it from me and mommy. I don't even trust these school systems the way they are now these days. I mean, I ain't gonna get into that, but yeah, but we gotta have a healthy conversation about it, be realistic about it, preparing about it also too. Even when it comes to certain consequences, we have to prepare them for that. Because when they reach a certain age, especially when they reach mostly I would say junior high school, that's the steps when they're gonna start experimenting. So thank you everyone. Have a good night. Until next time.
Good night, bro.
All right. Thanks,
Well,
Mel. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter what final thoughts. Any order. Lost in translation. Let's get you out of here first.
All right. Thank you, sir. I really enjoyed the show. Thank you for letting me up, Shu Shu and Mandrell. Y'all had a fantastic show today. My final thoughts is this: keep your relationship light. The world is already hard enough as it is. You guys should come together to refresh each other. You know what I mean? You shouldn't want to, bring the heavy stuff to each other. You want to make sure you enjoy each other. Make sure that you take time and check in from your spouse from time to time. Sometimes people don't always get comfortable telling you exactly what's on their mind just in passing. Sometimes you got to set down a specific time frame at least once a month and just check in and say, hey, is everything okay? I mean, everybody wants to know that somebody actually really cares about them. My last thing I'm going to land the plane is make sure that you guys take care of your health as well too. Make sure you go and get your stuff checked up, and make sure that you're okay everywhere that you need to be. So that way you guys can have a long and beautiful life together, because it's nothing like going through life together with somebody and you're both in health and you can go as long as you can. So that's my final word. Thank you guys for having me up today. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for coming up. Thank you for coming
through. You are very welcome, sir. Okay. It is an honor for you to be here in my presence. And I bid you good night. You, bad.
You can stop it.
Okay.
You know, there are people out there who actually think I'm serious when I say stuff like that. There are people who actually think I'm serious when I say stuff like that. I'm like, that is so like, I don't get it.
People like you are confusing.
How?
Because you say the joke with a straight face.
That's
my teacher,
funny.
My Taekwondo teacher was the same way. He would make jokes, whatever, and everybody's like looking like this. I'm just joking.
Right.
Even I'm just joking with said with a straight face. I'm just joking.
Right.
Like a crazy one.
Yeah, you all are the
People
crazy
call me
ones. Y'all don't
sarcastic.
recognize humor. Anyway,
Whatever.
Bass Pro Shop. Yeah, go ahead and give us your final thoughts.
Well, firstly, I want to say that to those who are still here or catching the replay, and you have the chat running as a replay also, try doing a search for Mandrell's channel. If you run a search, we can get his name, his page searchable faster. Because a lot of people have not been able to find his channel while running a search. So I put it in the chat already. The big picture 211 with the underscores underneath, and the big picture 211. You're looking for a blue and red brain. The mind is a powerful thing, and if you had good sex, you can have good sex again. Namyo Harango. Ooh.
What about okay. What about them ladies who never had good sex? What then?
Oh, you want to find somebody.
What?
You can't, because you can't have muscle memory or something that you never had. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta have it first.
Or you can use your imagination. Some people have fantasies.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like running a fantasy through my head and not having a actual physical reference to help me with that. Yeah. But you're right, Mandrell. I didn't even think about that part, man. You gotta have you gotta have something to reference.
Some kind of reference point, man, and it all starts in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't, like my sister said, like people think it's magic, but anyway, I'll give my final thoughts coming
Well,
up.
you feel magical when you have them orgasms. You know what I'm saying? Yes. But let's help Mandrell out and search his channel out. Thank you.
Yeah, I put it in the chat so they can see it.
Oh, thank you for that, BAS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bass Pro Shop. Thank you very much. Great.
Black David. Oh, did we even give you a chance to speak though? Did we?
He doesn't need one. Just give him his final thoughts and send him about his way. We're going to be here 3 hours with the final thoughts. So, I mean,
final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Mandrell need to get laid. Need to get darker skin. Need to humble himself down.
Hey, yo.
And he to calm himself out, like literally. He too uptight. I don't know what's wrong with him, but hey, I hope that your lady's out there for him. Man, you need to be built different. Cause I don't know what Mandrell gonna do to you. Might put you in a wheelchair. Who knows? It could happen. Next, you know, you blowing up Shu Shu's phone. Now, what's wrong with your brother? You're like, I don't know.
No.
You date him. I can't do nothing for you. Sorry. Click.
Okay.
Man,
I was saying, I just feel
jealous
sorry
of
for
my
Mandrell.
magnificence.
You will hurt her in a very unique way. That's what I gotta say. That's my final thought.
We appreciate you, Black David.
Thank you, Black David. Thank you for doing us a solid tonight by not taking 8 hours to make a thought.
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. You will know when you break out. You see it on the news.
So what now? You see what I do what now? I mean, I started to get over.
I would say if you see those YouTube comedy, he the blue chew and she's in the wheelchair all of a sudden. She not get out of the wheelchair for the next couple of months. Not no 1 week. That's Mandrell.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, warning.
I would have should say that in English, but we ain't got time. My man from the Mediterranean. Give it to us, man. What's your final thoughts? Thanks for coming, by the way. Thanks for the support to the show and to the overall Blackman Unfiltered network, man. Thanks for your support. Seriously.
I actually do
very
enjoy
much so
coming on.
appreciated.
I really do enjoy coming on. So do you want me to do this in Greek or English?
You know what? I hadn't heard Greek in a long time. Do it in Greek, man. Yes, the whole thing.
All time.
Oh wait, it went out.
Why can't we hear him? Is that Greek just to say nothing?
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Antes na gamisi na kaso sa tivalis na horsa bodia su ka rixenoro pucho. Pano kato siga oreo gamisi teli na kaso. So, in other words, when you do meet somebody you care about so much, doesn't matter how bad any relationship is, first you gotta fix your mental health. If your mental health is not there, your relationship is gonna crash and your sex life is gonna crash. So fix your head first before you get into anything else. That is the most important. Everything else will fall in place. Mental health is number one priority out there.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And thank you for that. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Evharisto.
Oh, not bad. Not bad.
You're right. See, thank you. My sister and I was supposed to go to Greece next year, but she changed it and wanted to go somewhere else. So I started Duolingo so I can learn the language until we got there. You know what I'm saying? So I can learn the language before we get there. And then she's like, no, I want to go. Oh,
well, when you do decide to go to Greece, hit me up on the side and I'll let you know where to go. Where nice places.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so it was hard at first because I never heard Greek for real. So I had to keep listening to stuff to learn the cadence and
actually
stuff and everything.
Side fun note, Greek is the second hardest language to learn.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
It sounds like it. Like when you started, even in Duolingo, when you started, you can tell. Spanish I started picking up like that.
You know what's funny? What's funny is
you
know Greek, for example. I'm not other language, but Greek I know for a fact. And you try to learn Spanish, a lot of words are very similar. Like mama, for example, is mother in Spanish and
in Greek.
In Greek, like bota is door. Either way, there's some words are very similar, and it's actually very fascinating. I feel how language are similar in their own way but different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. It's what's your is grooming
Reviews 101 is my channel, and I go by Pete.
Pete. Okay. Thank you, Pete. Well, we do our show every Wednesday. It's 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You in Greece though, right?
No, I'm in PA.
Oh, you're in PA. Okay, so you're on the East Coast. So we 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday night right here on Blackman Show. So
I'll definitely catch you guys together.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We do a good show, man. We're the dopest show on the whole network. You know, no other show can compare to us. You know, we're the dopest.
You can stop it.
Dopest, most splendiferous, most badassedness.
You know what?
Duo on all of YouTube.
So I've been with you guys for a few streams now, and I gotta say, so far, you guys are killing it. You guys, the whole team is killing it. I gotta give you guys credit. I'm doing my stuff solo, and I'm doing okay, but you guys are killing it. I gotta give you guys credit.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
And check out my new YouTube channel. It's called The Big Picture. And if you haven't subscribed or anything like that, I put it in the chat again. You know, for anyone who wants to come over and support me, come over to give support. I'm gonna have some good conversations over there as well. She should be over there from time to time.
From time to time.
Yeah.
I would definitely, once I get off this, I definitely hit you a nice sub.
No problem. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Brother.
Yo, have a good one. Taroos,
what's going on?
How you guys doing? Hey, thanks for allowing me on, guys.
No problem. Look at him stunting out, Shu. Look at him.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
You know, he's sitting there in the whole movie theater.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Stunting. No, that's right. Nothing wrong with it. No, I ain't no hater.
Hey, look, you guys are invited over. Whatever. That's cool.
No, yeah, right. No, I'm happy for that, man. I'm happy when I see people win.
Yeah, man.
I really
you know me, man. I want to see as many people rank up as much as possible, man.
Absolutely.
My final thoughts is for my guys specifically. I know sometimes we try to get into the minds of women when it comes to topics like this, but just in my limited experience, women are turned on by guys who are able to lead the charge, especially in an area where both of you are not familiar. So for my guys, remember, if you've ever done this, have you ever took your girl out on the trip or something like that, and it was an area where both of you guys weren't really familiar with, but because you had the confidence to maneuver and try to figure out where y'all was going and to find things to do in the city, you notice how she didn't hold your hand. She actually wrapped herself around your arm, right? That blanket security. She was turned on by you that entire trip. She was ready to literally eat you alive that entire trip. Even in the most crude way, guys, if we are a shepherd and we need to herd our sheep, the women want to see us and our ability to herd the flock. And then do that in an air, do that in a foreign country, do that in a cruise, go do that in the city down the street. And that leadership, that ability to just figure it out and lead the charge and just and coordinate and organize like that, that right there will turn a woman on to you so much. Because here's what turns a woman on. Hey, babe, what do you want to eat? Well, I don't know. What do you got a taste for? I don't know, babe. It's whatever you want. And then y'all just going back and forth and back and forth. That indecisiveness is a turn on. But you like, hey, babe, I'm going over here. Or you just randomly pick her up something to eat. That's a turn on, guys. So that's my final thoughts. Hey, if you're going to lead the way, if you're going to call yourself a leader, lead. That's the biggest turn on.
Yeah, just take her where you want to go. Because she'll go wherever you want to. If she likes you, she'll go wherever you want to go. She just wants to be with you, basically. But she'll go to every restaurant you want to go to. She'll find something on the thing to eat, on the menu to eat, even if it's just a salad, you know.
And even on that, right? It's a way to keep that intimacy going on throughout the day. But we also have to remember as guys too, just because we're in a relationship doesn't mean we also just expect to have sex, man. Like sometimes, like if women are like heavy in school, they're heavy in work, or like maybe the family life is going, they're just not in that headspace. Right. And so sometimes guys will get frustrated because we got to initiate the sex all the time. But I'm the dude. I ain't got no problem initiating. I'm going to try to caress her skin a little bit, whisper in her ear. I'm going to try to have like maybe cook something, her favorite meal, you know what I mean? Put her in a good mood, try to put her in a good mood. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's not going to be successful all the time, but it's going to be successful some of the time. You know what I mean? And it's like, your woman might not be in the mood, but if she's sexually attracted to her, you can put her in the mood, depending how you act. Right? But if you acting all needy and acting like she's obligated and using terms like duty, yeah, bro, you're gonna be going on some self-inflicted droughts for a while, and you got nobody to blame but yourself. You know? Yeah.
You're right.
I just can't keep it real, man.
I appreciate that, Terms. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you for coming out. Dope show, Mandrell. Dope show.
It was.
So what are your final thoughts?
It is really good information to hear. I mean, everyone who came up here made really good points. I don't know where Corey Haggai is. I didn't see him in the chat.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. See, we noticed. We noticed
Right.
when y'all not here.
He said violins, please. Oh, and shout out to Tarus for the $10 super chat. We appreciate you. We got to play something for them too. Before
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I don't really like the ones we got now.
Oh, let me slow it down. Rapping with the singing, I be swinging. You can get it all free like welfare. Back to the beginning, know what I told ya. I got 2 degrees, now I'm dumb rich. This sound like some 718 shit. The living weirdo on the same shit. Damien, let's go violinist.
Yeah, YouTube made us take down a lot of our good ones.
Oh,
We got a
really?
few. Yeah, we still got a few good ones. You know what I mean? But YouTube, they really is like, yo, yeah, we can't use that one either. No, you can't.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah, YouTube made us stop. So
yeah. Oh, and shout out to
It's
Carl
YouTube
Scar. I
stuff.
see him in the chat. Hey,
Yeah, Car Scar. Yeah, he sure is.
Information Man Show. How you doing?
Shout out everyone. Yes, this is the Information Man coming to you live from California.
Lord, jeez.
Hold on.
He's terrible.
Information Man. If I had your logo, I would have that voice. People would think I was you. Not like Black David, though. I got Black David to a T. That's right. This situation, in the cops in Hoover are taking on this case with this black woman who lied about being kidnapped. See, this isn't funny, people. I don't know why you're laughing.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. I'm working on it. I'm gonna get him too. I got Black David. I got Tommy B. I'm gonna get Information Man.
Just horrible.
I'm gonna get Information Man's voice, right? Okay, I am.
What are your final thoughts?
Your intro made me Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the compliment. Well, my final thoughts on tonight's show is, well, you know, I'm into this kind of stuff anyway. I watch this, like most of my YouTube algorithm is filled with that. Like, okay, this is up next, that's up next. It's filled with just information stuff. And when she said the whole thing about like turn on switch, the dual switch model, yes, she's absolutely right. I think that's the that was the biggest one to take away from tonight. You have to figure out how to keep her turn off switch off or her turn on switch on.
Right.
You got to figure that thing out, man. And it comes from just doing simple things, you know, like say, hey, let's go out this weekend. What are we doing? Don't worry about it. Just come with me and go out, you know.
Right, yeah.
And take her to do some stuff, do like something she likes to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Take her to do something she likes to do. Say she likes to go dancing, but you like to go to the movies a lot. Why don't you take her to the movies and then take her dancing, then go to dinner?
Right.
Take her to a matinee, right? And when the matinee's done, okay, you know, dance clubs are open now.
Right.
You know, and so when you go to the dance clubs, you're there, you've had a few appetizers, you've danced, you laughed and talked and all that stuff. Now, it's around 9 o'clock. Let's go get dinner. Done. And you didn't tell her what you were going to do either. Just think of something like that, stuff like that, fellas. Also, fellas, know your lady. You know, get to know your woman. You know, the things she likes to do, the things she doesn't like to do. Ladies, if you like to dance, I'm in trouble because I can't dance worth a lick. I've been told all I got is a two-step. That's all I got for you, a two-step. And I've been told that I can't even do that well. It ain't quite that bad anymore. I graduated from that since then.
Yeah.
He ain't even moving his feet. He ain't even doing a two-step. He's just thrusting his hair.
You in her DM, I'm in her mouth, we not the same. Flipping the funk, the heat, the fire, got the flame. Came with the gift, the gab, and blessed with lots of game. Be mad at me, they know I'm not to blame. You in her DM, I'm in her mouth, we not the same.
Oh, sorry.
That's just disgusting. Listen, man. You can apologize all you want to. That's I don't even want to learn how to dance like that.
Oh, okay.
And also, shout out to Patient Impact. Yes, Patient Impact. I have been actually looking at dance schools to try to take dancing lessons.
Oh my gosh.
No fooling.
Sorry, y'all. Well, are you finished with your final thoughts? That's all you got?
Yeah, just people re-watch this video that we did tonight. All right. Put it to practice.
Right. My final thoughts are this, like, honestly, when it comes to sex, I think all of us have been misinformed because very few people have actually had their parents sit down with them or someone, a close relative, like, Beautifully Animated Speak said that she talked to her niece and nephews about sex. Like, very few people have actually had someone in their life to actually sit them down and have a conversation with them about it. Even in the educational system, there's very little that they teach you about. They don't teach you anything about intercourse, really. They just may teach you about the reproductive system, but that is about it. And as far as what we have learned about sex, for the most part, has just been in conversation with friends, which we all know a bunch of it is a bunch of lies, and just through personal life experiences. And a lot of the issues that we experience, or the issues that some people have in their sexual relationships, like in their marriages, especially when men talk about, a lot of men talk about being in sexless marriages. A lot of men scared to get married because they scared of being in a sexless marriage. Well, I mean, there are reasons for that. Part of the problem too is a lot of people don't want to have a conversation about it because it starts from a young age. There's this huge taboo around the subject of sex and talking about it. The only thing that that children are really taught, girls in particular, is that everything associated with sex is negative. It's not a positive thing. And we got to stop teaching girls that it's not a positive thing, because that fear-based message is causing issues later on down the line. And having a conversation, letting them know that this is a natural thing. It's a natural thing. It's natural for them to have the feelings that they have, but it is a powerful act that should be held or done with someone that they're either married to or that they know they're in a very serious committed relationship with. It shouldn't just be done with someone who, just telling lies to you. But long story short, the next thing I wanted to say also is it's important to educate yourself on sex. There is plenty of information, like actual research, actual solid, tested, proven information out there about sex, how it works, how it functions, how the turn on, turn off works. It's plenty of information out there and available. Go out there and do your research, look into it. Because it's a lot of people out here who think they have sexual issues, and really they don't. They just don't understand what's going on with them. And, they just need help figuring it out. So bottom line is we got to stop being so uncomfortable with the conversation of sex and have conversations with our partners about it. A lot of times we're not getting what we need sexually is because most of the problem is we're not expressing it. And then the second part is we don't know how to get it because we really are misinformed and miseducated on sex in general. So we need to get comfortable with having conversations and also inform ourselves. So that's my message. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shu Shu. Tune in next week. We don't have the subject just yet. I got a couple of ideas. I'm gonna run by Mandrell and see what he thinks. But until then, thank y'all for tuning in, and tune in next week.
It'll probably be my idea, though.
Of course.
And the show would be magnificent because I am magnificent.
Of course you are.
It's simple, baby girl. You're either perfect or you're not me.
Really? That's terrible.
You can stop it.
Okay.
It's a fact.
That is just horrible.
End the show already.
of fire by night and a pillar of vapor by day. Walk through the desert, but when you admire the light, see the villains are paper mache.